So boys, welcome to today's video. This one is going to be a fun one. Obviously, this one was voted for on the community page. There was 4 teams. I asked us who do you want to see me rebuild, and Lyon was the team that won. It was very, very close between Lyon and Dortmund. There was like 2% in it. But obviously, Lyon is a team that has a ton of rich history. Like, they won a ton of trophies. Obviously, then PSG came in. They had all their money. They spent a lot on players. And it made Lyon it made things difficult for them. But also, they've had a lot of financial issues. Because if you go to their trophy cabinet, they have won the league 7 times. Obviously, 2002, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They won it quite a few years in a row. But obviously, the last time they won is 2008. And like I said, they haven't won like any Champions Leagues or anything, which Lyon was always around in the Champions League. They were a very, very good team at one point. But like I said, the financial issues has hit them pretty hard. Because if you go over into the debts and loans, they have 240 million in debt, 21 in transfer debt. So it's a lot of debt, especially for a French club. If you'd went to 240 million in a Premiership team, it's nothing. Premiership makes that much money, but the French league does not make as much money as the Premiership does, so it's a little harder to get out of debt. But they do have some fantastic players, like their keeper Lucas Perry, recently bought centre back Moussa Niakate that they brought in from Nottingham Forest. Then of course their defensive midfielder Maxime Cucurella. They also have in on loan Wilfried Zaha. Then they have Georgios Bekutadze, I think that's how you pronounce him. He's only 23, really good player. Then of course the little wonder kid of their team, young Rayan Cherki. Of course, probably not as good in this AFM as he's been in previous installments, but still a pretty good talent for a team like Lyon. But they do have a lot of players who are kind of aging out. Lacazette is going to be 34 this year. Matic is going to be 36. Then Mata is going to be 32. Vertut is going to be 32, even though he's absolutely fantastic. But they do also have explosive winger Said Benrahma, who's very, very good, very quick, very good on the ball. So there is some real talent around this team. Obviously, it's a team that needs a little bit of work, because if you look at the team, it is a team that does have some potential. But the only thing is, when you get past the players that are kind of in the starting team, the squad starts to get a little thin. Like I said, there is a lot of older players here that do kind of need to be moved on. But this is what I would kind of do with regards to like the team. Obviously, you know my love for playing 5 at the back. This tactic, of course, everything will be in the pin description down below. The tactic, the corner routine, the updated database, and of course the save file for this game will all be down there whenever this video goes live. This tactic is from somebody that I do know. It is the Flying Scotsman. His channel will also be in the pinned comments along with everything else down there. Look, a fun tactic. I always try something a little different with each save. Obviously, I want to play 5 at the back, but I try to make things a little different each video and just keep things a little fun. I mean, but like the team is very, very good. Perry and nets, Niakate. Omari is a very, very good player, but he is currently in on loan from Rennes. So I am probably going to play him. He is pretty decent, but obviously this is a position we're going to need to fill full time. Kambede, young little fullback. He's still only 19 years old. He's currently not playing up to a high level yet, but has a decent amount of potential. Playing 2.5 star, has 4 to 5 star. Don't know if he would get the 5 star. I think he's probably going to be like a 3 to 3.5 star player. Then for Vertut and Cucurella in the middle of the park, along with Abner Vinicius, he's pretty decent. I wouldn't say astronomical, but for this team, he's pretty solid. And if we go out, we have that guy, Big George. His name's George, isn't it? George's. I'm just going to call him George. He's now officially called George. And then of course Cherki. We do need an advanced forward. We need an advanced forward and another centre back just to fill in for the season. Like I said, we have a lot of players who are currently aging out. Like I said, Lacazette is a good player. Zaha is on loan, so we could just play Zaha for the season. Look, he's relatively decent. We could just play him there. And then all we really need is a centre back. But I do want to clear out some of the deadwood list team, especially the people that are that 33, 34, 35. Look, they need to go, and some of them are on pretty big wages. But apart from that, look, I think this team's pretty solid. Like I said, the first probably 9 players are pretty good, but then once you get past that, the squad is very, very thin. But we have a whopping 3 million transfer budget if you go over to the scouting. So yeah, we don't have a lot of room to play around with regards to even loaning people in or transfers. But I'm going to go see if I can do a little bit of transfer business, and then we'll come back and reevaluate the team. So we did get some players out the door, because we needed some money to bring in some exciting young players. So the first person out the door was Maitland-Niles. He went to Crystal Palace for a total of 5 million. Then Big Matic went out the door for 2.8 million, back to Chelsea. So one of the people I did bring in on loan was young Junior Krupi. Obviously bring him on loan, give him a little bit of football, try and get him to come to our team. Junior Krupi is absolutely fantastic. Look, he's only 18 years old. He's French, 2-star, whole way up to 4 to 5-star potential. The kid is absolutely unreal. Like I said, we need to get him into the team. Unfortunately, we could not get an optional fee. I don't know what was going on. Every time I hit the optional fee for the loan and then put it in, they changed it to a mandatory fee. I've never had that before. I took the mandatory fee out to put an optional fee in. They put the mandatory back in, so I just took it out completely. So yeah, we've got no fee. So I'm hoping when we get our next transfer budget next year, we can just like wrangle a deal. He's only valued at sort of 8.6 to 12.5. This may go up by the time we get to the end of the season though. But this is a player I would like to get in because, like I said, he's French, 18, very, very gifted footballer. So another young player that I wanted to bring in was young Simic. Look, our options are kind of limited just to the fact of we don't have a lot of money. The players that are interested in coming sign for us are very, very good, but when you've got a 3 million transfer budget, it kind of limits the people you can bring in. But I feel like this is a really, really good one. Obviously, Simic in this save, he's a 3-star or 2.5-star. He's got 3.5-star potential. Look, if he gets a star better in this, he'll do us for like a season or a couple seasons. If he could probably get better than this, we'll just have to see how he gets on. But we brought him in for a total of 4.8 million. Look, he's young, he's explosive, can play fantastic able feet, he's got a great mentality, super consistent. So like, it's a good fit for Lyon. Then one of our first signings, a guy wanted to get in the door straight away, was Badi Shebu. He's 19 years old. He's French. I just punched my microphone, but he's also 6'5". His physical stats aren't saying low, one-footed, something we are working on with him, but like good determination, good physical stats. He's an all-round, very, very good centre back. Good mentality, super consistent, has the potential to hit maybe 4-star. So with all the transfers in and all the transfers out, this is what the team looks like. This is how I would set them up if I was doing the team. Perry and Nets, Badi Shebu, Niakate, and Omari. Then young Vinicius, Vertut, Kukuret, and Kumbede. Then we have Krupi, Simic, and Sherky. This is a very, very young forward line, I know. But they're not going to get any better if I don't play them. Sherky, obviously, we'll have to evaluate him in like a year or so and kind of see how he is. I know, like I said, he's not just as good in this FM as he is in other previous FMs. I think he had a really bad injury, so like the lowered like his skill level, because like he has a really good reputation in world football. So, but this is how I would set the team out. Obviously, the assistant manager is probably not going to do the same thing as me. So he has changed a few people. Niakata is in there. Badishebu is not in the back line. Abner, he's put Mata in at the back for Toot and Tolisa. So basically he's took Kukuret out of the midfield. Strange because like he's phenomenal. And Lacazette and Zaha go in instead of Simic and Krupi. So I am going to have to lock a few people in. I'm going to lock in Badishebu as our central defender on cover. Look, he's not amazing at bringing the ball out from the back. He's just a really, really like all-round no-nonsense defender. So I'm going to put him in here on the cover. Kukuret, obviously don't understand why he's not playing. It's maybe because he's more of a defensive midfielder than like a Segundo Volante. But the Segundo Volante, this position is technically in the defensive midfield section. So we'll play him for a season. Then the assistant manager will probably pick him. Mbappe, obviously young, inexperienced. The same with Krupi and Simic. I'm hoping the assistant manager just puts Sherky in here. But the only thing is he may put Lacazette in here. So we'll kind of have to wing and see how we get on. But boys, all in all, I'm super, super happy with the people we brought in. Like I said, we only have 3 million transfer budget, so we can only really overly do so much. But I'm excited for this team. Look, for the first season, I just expect us to kind of push and just try and get up in the European football. That's all I can kind of expect from us. Speaking of that, what competitions are we in? Obviously, we're in the Europa Conference League this year, the French Cup and the League. So basically, we're in the Europa Conference League. This would be fantastic to win, but I don't know what other really, really big teams are going to be in this. Like, I've faced Chelsea in here before, so I'm hoping we can do well. Maybe get ourselves the wee final, get a piece of silverware. So boys, that's enough messing about. Obviously, I'm going to bring you back in January for any approach assigned people, and then bring you back at the start of April for the youth intake. But that's enough messing about. Let's go play Season 1. So we're at January, and of course I have a few people on the approach assigns that I'm interested. One of them, of course, is Jonathan Tao. Look, if we could get Jonathan Tao in, he's fantastic. But the only other problem is, Borussia Dortmund's also after him. I thought I was recording this part. I offered him a contract. He wants to be a star player. He wants £100,000 a week. Look, I've offered him a contract. It's going to be hard trying to stop him going to Dortmund. I'm hoping he'll come to us, but I'm not holding my breath. The other person I'm actually going to put in for is going to be Nikola Zielinski. Obviously, he's on approach assign. Play fantastic at both feet. He can play on both sides. Good mentality, consistent, enjoys the big games. He's only 22. He's very attacking. Obviously, we're playing a left. Both of our wing backs are on attack, so this is going to suit this perfectly. So we've agreed he wants to be an important player, and he wants £74,000 a week. Look, it's a lot of money, but these players we're getting for free, so I don't mind giving them a wee bit more wages. So Nikola Zalewski has decided to stay with Roma. As you can see, he's decided to commit his future to the club, so unfortunately, not be able to get him in the door. So then, unfortunately, Jonathan Tao is going to go to Newcastle. They come in about 2 days later after me and Dortmund offered the contracts. Worst part is he's only taken £58,000 a week at them when we were offering him 100 grand. But the Premiership, they're probably in Champions League football, so this kind of sucks a little bit. So on top of that, Thiago Almada was already an agreed fee. I keep forgetting that he is signed for Lyon and you get him in January, because January 1st come up and I was like, hold on, where do we get Thiago Almada? And then I remembered that they've agreed the fee before you even start the game. So he's in, absolutely fantastic. I don't know how much they paid for him. They got him on a free, which is absolutely wild. He's insanely good. So one other young player I have brought in on loan is young Lewis Millie from Newcastle. We do have a optional fee of 17 million. He's one of those ones that playing a 3-star, has 4 to 5 star potential. He's rated very, very well in this FM. 6'1", very, very good all-round, can play with both feet. So he's one, if we can get 17 million next year for our initial transfer budget, I'm going to activate this. So one other player I have brought in is young Giovanni Fabian. Look, if you've watched a few of my saves, I love this kid. I think he's absolutely fantastic. He's everything you need from a footballer. He's kind of like Esposito for me. You just put him in, you know what you're going to get. He's reliable, always turns up. Fantastic mentality. He loves the big games. He's super consistent. They're all in the dark green, and we got him for 13.5 million. So boys, it is April, which means youth intake time. We've actually got a decent youth intake, as you can see up here. Excellent 5-star. Whether or not it's 5-star, we'll see. But we've got a few good talents in here. We've got 3 that have 4 to 5 star potential, 1 at 3.5 to 4.5, and then another one at 3.5 to 4.5, and then another 4-star. The first one is a goalkeeper. Okay. He's actually got some potential. Obviously, I've offered all these guys contracts, as you know I always do. But he has some potential. 13 kicking, 14 handling, good reflexes, good communication, agility's good, balance is good, decision making's good. All in all, pretty solid. 15 years old. He's already 6'1". The next one is a centre back. Another one that actually looks pretty solid. Like over here, looked pretty decent all round. Little slow, 9 acceleration and 10 pace. But once again, he's only 15. This is something we can work on with time. The next one is an attacking midfielder on the right-hand side. That is a nice beard for a 15-year-old. But he's got a good mentality. He's consistent, strong on one foot, very strong with the other foot. It's always really, really nice to see. We all like players that can play with both feet. Finishing is 13. Heading is 14. Technique is 14. Flair is 14. Teamwork is 14. Determination is a little low. We'll kind of just see if that hinders him along the line. But once again, he's French, only 15. Then the next one is an attacking midfielder. You always hear me say, I never get players that are quick. You got a player that's quick. He's also got a good mentality. Once again, he's French. He's 15. Reasonable with both feet. 15 acceleration, 15 pace. Good balance. Determination solid. Technique is solid. First touch is solid. Down here looks pretty good. And the other one that looked pretty solid was a Rafael Bosch. Can play reasonably well both feet. Once again, 15 years old. Has a good mentality. Super consistent. Has good technique. A good flair. Good decision making. Good vision on top of that. Acceleration is good. Natural fitness is good. Balance is good. All in all, I would say this is a pretty solid youth intake. Boys, we're at the end of season 1. Obviously, my goal for this is to knock PSG off their reign of terror, winning the league every year. Obviously, they have a lot of money. They've got really, really good players, so they can just keep ban and ban and ban. For me, it's about just building, starting from the ground up. Look, we're going to have a lot of young players. It's going to take a wee bit of time. There's going to be a few bumps in the road along the way, but those young players need time to develop, and the only way to develop them is to play them. So let's jump over, see how we did in the league. So we did start the season off very, very strong. We opened the first game of the season 5-0, beating Nice. Young Simic got his goal straight away on the first minute. Then a fantastic solo goal from young Rayan Sharkey. I really hope he progresses over time because the kid has some potential. Big Badi Shebu made a 3. Young Simic added his second goal to make it 4-0. Then on the 69th minute with a nice ball in from Badi Shebu, Simic at the back post to get his hat-trick. Then we did also have a nice win over PSG. We ended up beating them 2-1 away. Young Simic opened the scoring. Young Krupi made it 2-0. Then just before halftime, they hit back through young Warren Ziamari. Then later on in the season, we had a nice 6-0 win against Lille. Young Krupi opened the scoring. Then Almeida made it 2-0. Then our young left back Abner made it 3. Almeida had added a second to the game. On the 70th minute, young Simic made it 4. In the 81st minute, young Tagliatelle, I know that's not his name, but it's what I've started calling him because I can't pronounce his name. He made it 6-0. Not a bad finish. So we ended up finishing 4th. Honestly, I'm very, very happy with this. Look, the main thing is we got in the Champions League football, and that is the massive, massive important. I think in 4th place, we do have to qualify though, so we'll have to watch and see. I don't know how many spots French League it gets in there. Look, even if we have to qualify next year, that's fine. Look, as long as we get into some Champions League football, it's progression, everything just takes a wee bit of time. But look, we played 34 games, 21 wins, 6 draws, 7 defeats is quite a lot. We did have draws with PSG, Havre, Rennes, Strasbourg, Nantes, and Olympique Marseille. We lost games to Monaco, which I would expect to lose. Toulouse, we should be beating. Nice is a hard team to beat. Lille, depending on who they've kept, could be a hard team. Monaco, once again, and Rennes and Reims, I think we should be beaten. Like, we did have a positive goal difference of 41, third best in the league, and then we finished on 69 points. So, no, I mean, technically we win for finishing on 69 points. Obviously, we don't have anybody in the goals and average ratings and assists. Look, we do have a very, very young team. It's just going to take a wee bit of time for them to progress, but we do have Tagliafico in the yellow cards. I don't even know if that's how you pronounce his name. It's probably not. But if you go up into the team overview, most points per game was Monaco. We were down in 4th. Most goals, we were 2nd. Look, PSG have a ridiculous team. They really, really do. And the fact that we scored 80 goals, I'm very, very happy with that. Most shots for, we're in 2nd place. Fewest shots against, we're in 3rd place. Most clean sheets, we are joint 3rd. And fewest conceded, we're in 5th. I would like this to go down a little bit. 39 is a lot, but like I said, again, young and inexperienced team. So all in all in the league, like I said, I'm very, very happy. Look, we finished 4th, get Champions League football, had some fantastic wins over big teams. PSG actually didn't beat us all season. We drew with them in the last game of the season, so we beat them at the start and then drew them at the end of the season. I'm going to take that. That's a very, very good run. So now, let's see how we did in the Cup. So unfortunately, our Cup run finished in the French Cup 11th round. We got Monaco. Monaco in the 11th round. Like, we couldn't have got a random French team for a couple of rounds. No, we had to get Monaco straight away. They ended up beating us on penalties 5-4. This is unfortunate because, like, I don't want to go out straight away, but, like, the 11th round against Monaco. So then we started things off in the Europa Conference League. We had to qualify. So the first round, we got Riga, beat them 3-1, beat them 1-0 at home to make it 4-1 in aggregate. Then that takes us on to the group stage. We ended up in Group B where we got Hearts and beat them 3-1. And then we beat Kruijsbas 3-1, beat SK Rapid 4-1. Then the second match against Rapid, once again, we beat them 4-1 again, beat Hearts again 4-0. Then we played that random team again, beat them 3-0. So we played 6 games, won 6 games, and scored a lot of goals. So then that took us to the round of 16 where we got Ajax of all teams. They started off the scoring on the 47th minute. Then the 60th minute, they made it 2-0 to beat us 2-0 in the first match. Then in the second leg, in the 45th minute, they started off the scoring. We hit back straight away through Almada. A little bit of luck off the post. Then for 2, made it 2-1 with a nice penalty. But unfortunately, that's where our Europa League phase run ended. They ended up beating us 3-2. Like, we just keep getting ridiculous teams really early in competitions. Monaco in the fucking 11th round. We get Ajax in the round of 16. If you go into the round of 16, look at the teams that's in here. Besiktas, some teams you can't even pronounce. Slavia Prague, Panathinaikos, Hoffenheim, Partizan. I mean, Atletico Bilbao is a reasonably big team. AEK. And we get probably one of the biggest teams in here in Ajax. But then team-wise, I did end up locking in and Justin Biguajao, our young keeper. I wanted to see what he was like for the season, see how much progression he's got. Look, he's playing a 2-star, has anywhere from sort of like 2.5 to 3.5 star potential. I think we're probably more than likely going to need a new keeper. I want to bring someone in a little younger, somebody can develop, so we may look to bring in a new keeper. But he played 21 games, conceded 26, only a 6 clean sheets. Then young Abner played 36 games, 9 goals, 12, a 7.2 for the season. Then young Sal Combete, of course, we did lock him in for the season just to see how well he would do. He played 42 games, 3 goals, 20 assists in his first season. I think he's going to be very, very good. Of course, then Bade Shebu, who once again we did lock in for the season, played 49 games, 9 goals, 2 assists. He had a 6.92, but look, it's his first season, he's still very young. I have sent him on an intensive language or leadership course. I want to get his leadership up to like 15 or 16. I want him to be the captain of this team and who we build a team around. Of course, for the meantime, Niakata will be the captain while he is here. He played 36 games, no goals, no assists. Obviously, our corner routine, they're mostly going to aim for Bade Shebu because he's 6'5". But then Big Carr also did play a lot. He played 40 games, 0 goals and 3 assists, but he did play over 7 rating. Of course, Big Lewis Millie, I did bring in January and locked him in. He ended up getting an injury. He only played fucking 7 games, played 0 goals and 1 assist. This is one I would have liked to lock in for a wee bit longer, but like I said, unfortunately, he got injured. Only got a chance to play 7 games. Young Fabian, another one. Look, this is one of those ones. Look, I do try to bring in different players all the time. There's just those players you know you can bring in and you can just rely upon. And Fabian is one of those players I really, really do honestly become one of my favorite young players to ban in the game. He's perfect all around. He's big, strong, physical. He can play football. He's got a good mentality, enjoys the big games. He's consistent. Get him cheap. And I know, look, sometimes you have to bring in your favorites, boys. But he did have a good season. Like I said, we ended up locking him in 21 games, 3 goals, 4 assists. He didn't have over 7 rating, but like I said, once again, first season. Then the first of our 3 young strikers, young Junior Krupi, did end up getting actually injured at the end of the season. But as you can see, I have confirmed the transfer for him. Had to pay a total of 17 million. I think it's like 8 million up front, the rest in installments. But he is locked in. Look, he's young, he's French, and I want to bring him in the team. Look, he is absolutely phenomenal. How long is his injury? That is not good. 5 to 7 months with damaged cruciate ligaments. His season went well up until then. I think he got injured. Like, when did he get injured? Fuck off, not again. That was the second last game of the season he got injured. He played 40 games, 21 goals, 9 assists, and a 7.2. Unfortunately, we're not going to see him until probably like well after Christmas now. Then, of course, Almeida, we only got him in January. This was a very, very nice surprise. One of those ones I was like, oh, okay. I forgot about this, that Almeida's actually joined Lyon on the free, but he played 22 games, 10 goals, 10 assists, and a 7.5 for the season. I've always been a huge fan of Almeida in this game, so it's nice to be able to have him in the team for free. Then young Simic up top, of course, played 46 games, 21 goals and 1 assist. Didn't have over 7 rating, which is kind of strange because he had 22 goal involvements, 46 games in his first season. But all in all, starting to look pretty well. A lot of green arrows. Young Rayan Sharkey also got a decent amount of games played. Started 21, 9 off the bench, 10 goals, 4 assists and a 7.14. So Rayan Sharkey's more likely probably going to get a lot of football next year with Krupi being out till like after Christmas. He'll more than likely probably take his position. So then team-wise, honestly, look, I'm very, very happy with the boys that we did lock in. Obviously, young Millie, unfortunate he got injured, didn't get a lot of time to play. And then Groupies is fucking, dude, that's a bad one. But look, we've got a good team. Keeper-wise, like I said, I want to bring in a new keeper. Centre back, I do have somebody in mind. We got a total of 24 million for our transfer budget for next year, so that's really good. Bade Shebu and Niakata, really happy with. Fabian, happy with. Mbebe, that's how Kambede, because there's a D in there. He's one honestly gonna lock in for the next couple of seasons, just kind of see how he progresses. Obviously, Krupi, Simic, and Almeida up top as our forward line, as our 3. Look, you know I love to have a big target forward striker up here, but we're very limited in our options on who we can bring in, and obviously we're good for strikers at the minute. I need a centre back and a keeper, like as our main positions. Abner, I'm happy to have in here, and of course we have a couple of players we can play in midfield. Cucuret's in here, so like Fabian and Cucuret in the middle of the park, I'm super happy with. But boys, that is the season 1 out of the way. All in all, very, very happy. Champions League football. Would have the cup. I'm not going to talk about. I don't know what it is with cups in these saves. We just seem to get fucked a little bit for the first like couple of seasons, but all in all, I'm happy with the season, how everything went. Boys, let's jump over into season 2. So with regards to transfers, we did have a few people going out the door and a few people coming in. So the first one was Ernest Ma. We sold him on to Frankfurt for 12 million. The next one was Ard Rielsen. I think that's how you pronounce his name. Sold him on to Cadiz for 5 million. Then the next one is Big Georges. I was honestly happy to keep him as a squad player, but he wanted to go get some first team football, so we sold him on to Lille for 3.5 million. Then we sold Orban on to Troyes for 2.1 million. Then Sar went to Atletico Plimplamlo for 2 million. So like I said, one of the first things I wanted to do was bring in a keeper, and I brought in Rome Jean Awoso Adoro. We brought him in for a total of 6.5 million. Look, he's a very, very good young keeper, got a ton of potential. He's got a good mentality, super consistent, and he's really, really good in the air. So this is one, like, for pretty cheap. I'm pretty happy with this. But of course, you always need more than one keeper, and most of our keepers are either out of contract or they're too old and they're moving on. So I brought Tijark Ernest in for a total of 5 million. This is for rotation. He's happy to be a backup. Adoro, obviously, going to be the first choice. Then I brought in Bafode Diakite, whatever way you pronounce his name. Look, he's French. This is one I agree with the money from last season. This is one I agreed like April sort of time. Look, here's the thing. 24 years old, he's French, 6'1", he's right-footed. We actually need a couple of right-footers in the team. Physical stats are absolutely insane. Mental stats are really, really good. Good marking, good passing, good tackling. He's just an all-round very, very good defender. And like I said, he's still really, really young. And we got him for a total of 16 million. Then obviously with Niakata being 30 this year, we are going to need like a long-term replacement for him. So I brought in Jean-Noël Belession. He is, once again, French. He's only 20 years old. This is one I do want to get out on loan for the season because the kid has a ton of potential, but I need to get him football. We paid a total of 4 million for him. Then I brought in one last person, which is going to be Sergio Reguilon. He was on a free, and he's on very, very low wages, £26,000 a week, which is fantastic. This is one just for a bit of squad depth and a bit of competition at left back. So with all the transfers in and all the transfers out, this is pretty much what the team is going to look like if I was to set it up. So Adoro, Niakata, Badeshebu, and Diakite. And then Reguilon, Fabian, Kukuret, Kambede, Groupie, obviously out till after Christmas with a cruciate ligament. Was it cruciate ligament injury? I think it was. And then Simic and Almeida. I'm very, very happy with this team. We still have a lot of money left as well. Still 35 million left. So in January, if anybody comes up that I'm maybe interested in putting in for, we do have the cash there. But honestly, I'm pretty happy. I think we would just need a wee bit more squad depth here and there. I am still trying to get rid of a lot of players. It's hard. Nobody really wants the players that I'm trying to get rid of. But this is how I would set up the team. How's the assistant manager set it up? So honestly, he doesn't really change too much. The only thing he does is put Vinicius in instead of Reguilon and put Carr in instead of Badeshebu. So there are two players I may have to lock in for the season. Oh, he also takes Fabian out and puts Tolisso in. So the only people I'm going to lock in is going to be Adoro. I just want him in as the first choice keeper and just make sure he's playing. Badeshebu, obviously want to get him in, get some experience. This is going to be the person I build the team around. And then Reguilon and Fabian. This one, honestly, I might just take out. I'm happy to have any of the two of those play left back. I'm not really overly too fussed. I want a wee bit of competition, but I do want Fabian in there. I want to get him a wee bit of experience. I want to make him better. And the only way we're going to do that is if he plays. So boys, that is all the transfers in, all the transfers out. Obviously, I'll bring you back in January if there's anybody that I'm interested on approach to signs. And then back in April, if our youth intake's good, I usually get one good youth intake through the whole save, so hopefully we can get a wee bit more. But boys, let's go play season 2. So boys, we are at April youth intake time, but a few things. So we got to January, the board gave us a wee bit of extra cash. We got up to a total of 52 million. I still had 39 million left. I can't remember how much it was. And we ended up at like over 50 million. So I did make a little purchase. Someone on my shortlist was a little upsetty spaghetti at their club. And I thought this was a good person to bring in. And that person is Morten Hirschelman. Look, obviously with us playing two Segundo Volantes, we kind of need some good DMs. I think Fabian is a very, very good player, but I just don't think Fabian's a good like defensive midfielder type person. So I brought Hirschelman in. It cost us a total of 39 million, which I think is an absolute steal. He's 6'1", can play with both feet, enjoys the big games, consistent, got a really, really good mentality. Mental stats are insane physically. He's very, very good. He can also play ball though. Good marking, good passing, good tackling technique. He's very, very good all around. He's still only 26 years old. So I thought this was an absolute perfect transfer for us. So you're probably asking, Mark, what have you done with Fabian? I've put Fabian up top as the advanced forward. Look, you know I always like to have like a big sort of like physical striker. He's only been up there for probably 6 or 7 games in and around there. So like he's not going to score me 40 goals this year. Like I just put him up there. Look, already 6'3", 14 jump and reach, 16 heading. He can finish, he can dribble, he can fucking work rate is amazing. His determination's good. Everything about him is what you need. So I thought, right, I'm going to pump him up top for a little bit. See how he gets on. But youth intake wise, it says we got an excellent 5-star one. Once again, we'll see if those 5 stars are true. Our most important one here is Yashin Bebiad. He is Moroccan. Oh, dude, this headband's pretty sick though. I'll give him that much. I like him already. But 15 years old, plays on the wing or wide. Look, 19 determination, can play with both feet, amazing mentality, which is really, really good. Good technical skills, good first touch, good dribbling, good crossing, good teamwork, good work rate. Physical stats are pretty good. He's also 6'4", which is really, really good. The other one that's pretty decent is, his name, look, I'm not going to try and pronounce that. You just know what I'm like with names. But I got a fantastic mentality. Also, only 15 years old. He's also French. Good dribbling, good finishing, amazing determination, which is fantastic to see. Good teamwork, good passing, good technique, good agility. And like I said, French and 15. But there is a few other ones. Look, they're pretty decent. They're nothing phenomenal. Look, this guy's got good flair, good first touch. He's 15. He's also French, got a good mentality. Strong with one foot, very strong with the other foot. You just know how handy it is to have people who can play with both feet. Good natural fitness, good flair, technique and stuff. So all in all, pretty decent. And then we've got this guy. Look, he's a centre back / DM. It's kind of hard to tell at 15 years old. He's Turkish, what he's going to kind of end up like. He's got a good mentality. He's super consistent. Bravery's good. Determination's good. Teamwork is good. Tackling is pretty decent. Physical stats are actually really good for a 15-year-old. So I think he's going to be mentally and physically a wee bit of a fucking beast. I know over here it looks like his physical stats are terrible. It's just because he's got 3 strength because he's 15 years old. Obviously, this will come along with time. I think, honestly, if we were to work on his heading, we probably got ourselves a really good centre back. So boys, we're at the end of season 2. Obviously my goal for this is just to keep progressing and going up and going up and going up and just working our way up to catching PSG, because like I said, they have a lot of cash. They already have a very, very good team, so it makes them very, very difficult, because when they lose players, they just buy more players, and it just, look, it's going to take a while to catch them, but that's half the fun. This is what I want to do with this Lyon team. Start off, bring them back to the glory that they used to have, and take PSG off their pedestal. Let's jump over and see how we did in the league this year. But everything was not all sunshine and rainbows, because at the start of the season, Monaco ended up slapping us 4-0. It took them the whole way till the 70th minute to get their second goal. 2 minutes later, they added a third. And in the 91st minute, they added their 4th goal. We kind of just fell apart at the end of the match. Honestly, our keeper should have saved that. But we then redeemed ourselves about halfway through the season with a 6-2 win over Olympique Marseille. Almeida started off the scoring. They hit back then 10 minutes later. 5 minutes later, Almeida got himself a second. Then 1 minute later, they equalised from a corner. But then this is when we got one back through Young Sharky to make it 3-2. Then Young Sharky added a second goal of the game. Then our right back, Young Kambede's got with the next one. Then we also had a fantastic 3-1 win against PSG. Our new striker, Fabian, starting off a scoring. We then went 2-1 up through Sharky. They hit back in the 70th minute through Xavi Simons. Then Tolisso with the ball into the box for Young Fall to make it 3-1. There we go, boys. There we go. A little 3rd place. Look, we finished 4th last year, and just as well we finished 3rd this year, because there's only 3 Champions League spots, and we are in one of them. I'm very, very happy with this. 34 games played, 23 wins, 6 draws this year against Reims, Lorient, Monaco, Lille, Nice, Nantes, and Troyes. And then we lost 5 games. Those are games I think we should be winning, but all in all, look, we finished on 75 points. Monaco, oh goddamn, okay. Monaco on 88 points, PSG on 81. So, yeah, PSG didn't even win the league this year, which is pretty funny to see. And if I'm going by the table over here, did Monaco win it last year? Because technically this is the 24-25 season. So it means Monaco won it last. So Monaco's won the league 2 years in a row away from. Is Monaco the ones that are going to take PSG off the reign of terror? Apparently we don't need to. Monaco's doing it anyway. But we do have a few people in there for player of the matches. We have Thiago Almada. Of course, we are in there for clean sheets, which is really nice with 12. Not bad for Aduro for his first season. Then if we go up into the team stats this year, most points per game. Look, we're in 3rd. I'm happy with that. Most goals. We did drop down a little bit. I think this was mostly down to we did have a few injuries. When I come back in January and when I come back in April, we did have a few injuries. Look, these things are going to happen. Sometimes injuries can falter a season a little bit. It is what it is. Most shots for was us by a good part, and then few shots against. We're kind of down there in 8th. Most clean sheets, we're in 3rd, I'm happy with, and then fewest conceded, we're in 4th. Look, we do have to tighten things up, but you also have to remember we're playing a lot of really, really young players, so I'm pretty happy with this. So like I said, all in all, we had some fantastic wins. Obviously, getting smashed by Monaco right at the start of the season give us a wee bit of va-va-voom to get moving forward. Look, wins over PSG and a bunch of other really, really good wins through the season. Look, I'm very, very happy how we did in the league. Obviously, I want to start getting us into the goals and average ratings and assists. This will come with time. I think having young Fabian as our main striker now, because like we have 3 really small strikers up top. We're now Fabian, really tall, physical, a wee bit of a sort of target man to aim for. I think we can start moving up. So with the league out of the way, we move into some of the other stuff. Obviously, we'll have to see how we did in the French Cup. I don't know why I did it like that. Look, just go with it. It's late in the morning, okay? So we kick things off in the quarterfinal of the French Cup. We actually went 1-0 up through Almeida. Then 4 minutes later, we actually made it 2-0 through Fabian. I don't know what his young man was doing. He's got a weird touch. So at halftime, we were absolutely cruising, but then they ended up getting back in. On the 50th minute, they made it 2 each. In the 62nd minute, Grace and Mason Greenwood made it 3-2. So boys, unfortunately, that's where our cup run ended. I'm actually a little disappointed in this, mostly because we were 2-0 up in 20 minutes, and then we just let them back into the game. Like, it does suck, but like, we made it to the quarterfinal this time, though. I mean, instead of going out in the 11th round? Last year to Monaco. I don't know how we got Monaco in the 11th round of a cup. We'll just not worry about it. But this is disappointing because we were 2-0 up. But we have more important fish to fry. Champions League. And so as we guessed, we actually had to qualify for the Champions League. Look who we get in the qualifying stage of the Champions League. Fucking Ajax, bro. Like, are they trying to hunt us? So we played the first leg. We drew with them 3 each. Then we went back to the Ajax arena where we slapped them 4-1 to go through 4-7 aggregate. It's wild. We just get really, really good teams really early in competitions. But this took us into the Champions League, where we kicked things off against Atletico Madrid. We ended up getting beat 3-2. Then we played a normal team in Zurich and beat them 5-3. Drew 3 each with Slavia Prague. Then we managed to slap Man City 3-1 somehow. Then we beat this team that I never try to pronounce their name because I just can't. We'll beat them 2-0. Then we beat Brentford 1-0 away. Then we beat Arsenal 3-0. We seem to be doing really, really well against big English teams. Then in our final league phase match, we actually get beat 2-1 by Inter Milan. So that means we just finished outside the automatic qualification. We finished in 9th. I'm very, very happy with this. We are joint points with Chelsea and Bayern. I'm going to take that. So then that took us to the knockouts against Benfica, and Almeida started the scoring. Then 45 minutes later, we actually added our second goal through young Fabian. Then young Shirky got the third to make it 3-0 in the first leg. So then this took us to the second leg where we were at home. Start off the scoring through young Almeida. This dude is just scoring for fun. Then they hit back 6 minutes later. 5 minutes later, Almeida added his second. Then Reguilon added another one in the 84th minute. A minute later, they added a consolation goal, but we were already through 6-2. So then that took us to the round of 16 where we faced off against Chelsea. Our young right back started off the scoring. Then young Simic made 2-0. So then going into the second leg at Stamford Bridge, we had ourselves a very, very nice lead, but Chelsea actually started off the scoring. Then in the 88th minute, they equalised. Then this took us to extra time. We're in the 111th minute. They scored to put us out. So look, this kind of sucked going out in the round of 16, but I think we've done very, very well with the teams that we've played against. We beat Arsenal. We had to get Ajax in the fucking qualifying stage. We put out Benfica. We did beat Chelsea. We beat City. We beat Brentford. I think we've done very, very well this year in the Champions League. I'm actually proud of the boys. So then young Adoro, obviously we locked him in. So we played 48 games, conceded 55. Obviously, we're playing 2 young centre backs, so like we're going to concede a few goals until they get a little bit better. But honestly, he did very, very well. He also had 19 clean sheets. Then young Badashibu, another one that I locked in, played 50 games, getting 9 goals, 1 assist. So then it got till probably just after the start of the season, and then I went back and actually locked Lyon in. I locked him in as our libero. I did change the tactic a little bit, not too much. I'll show you it after this. So I locked him in. Look, the only way he's going to get any better is if I play him. I need him to be playing football. So he started 49 games, 3 goals, 2 assists, and he's starting to look a lot better. Then Diakata also played a lot of games, 51 games, 1 goal, 1 assist, and an over 7 rating. But then this meant that Diakata probably got pushed out of the team a little bit. This is probably why he's transfer listed. He only started 14 games, 35 off the bench, 3 goals, 2 assists. Honestly, out of our 3 defenders, look, he's probably better than Lyon, but Balesian's the one that I want to be in the team for the future. He's our young star, and I need to play him to give him football. It is unfortunate for Niakata, but if he wants out of the team, that's up to him. Then, of course, with me pushing Fabian up into the advanced forward role, let's give more games to Cucurella. I want him and Hugelman to play in the middle of the park. I want them two to be doing all the dirty work. So, started 25 games, 21 off the bench. We played a lot of football, 1 goal, 3 assists. Hugelman, of course, only came in January, so he started 22 games, 2 goals, 2 assists. Then our young right back, Kimbebe, I didn't actually need to lock him in, which is fantastic. It means he can just play him whenever he wants. 45 games played, 5 goals, 13 assists. So we get 20 assists last season, 13 this season. Look, he's progressing very, very well. He has dropped down from a 5-star down to 4-star. Look, if he gets another star, I'm happy with this, but I don't know if he'll get the 4-star. Now, I could see him probably being like a 3.5-star player. And out of our 2 left backs, it seems that Reguilon has played the most games. He started 50, 6 goals, 20 assists and a 7.4 for the season. Not bad for a guy we got on the free. Because right at the end of January, we actually ended up selling Abner Vinicius to Spurs. Look, they come in, offered. I said no because I wanted to keep 2 left backs. He wanted to leave, so we got a total of 15 million for him. Then young Junior Krupi, he only played 27 games. Of course, he was injured up until after Christmas, and then it took a wee bit of time for him with rehab, but he's starting to look very, very good. Played 27 games, 6 off the bench, 8 goals, 2 assists. Almeida had an absolute blinder of a season, played 52 games, 29 goals, 16 assists, and a 7.3 for the season. Who wants him? AC Milan, you aren't getting him. Young Rayan Shirky actually got a decent amount of football. The only thing is he doesn't enjoy the big games now, but he's not going to be a guaranteed starter all the time. He's there for squad depth. And look, he's happy to be a squad player. I'm happy to keep him around because he's French. He can play fantastic at both feet. But he started 25 games, 24 off the bench. You know, he played a lot of football. 13 goals, 6 assists. And then, of course, the big man, Fabian, up top. Look, we did lock him in. He ended up getting a wee injury at the end of the season, which is unfortunate. Played 51 games. Granted, about 39 of those was in midfield. He got 8 goals, 5 assists, and a 7.6 for the season. Look, this is one I honestly believe if we lock in and he can just stay injury-free next year, I think he could do very, very well. He has everything that I need as a striker. He's big, strong, physical, can stick a ball in the back of that. He can dribble. Still young at 23 years old. So then with regards to the tactic, like I said, I changed it a little bit. I didn't change too much. The only thing I really did, I put us up the positive mentality. We were unbalanced. I like to be a wee bit more aggressive whenever I play, and that's just a personal thing. Then all I did was change one of these defenders to a libero. I put the 2 segundo volantes back on the support, and I put both of these as a pressing forward instead of one of them as a false 9. So like only changed a couple of roles and then stuck us on the positive, and then I turned the tempo down just a little bit. But apart from that, the tactic's still pretty much the same. That's all I've really changed. I haven't changed any player roles or anything. This seemed to have suited. Look, tactics are going to be based off how you want to play and also the players you currently have available. This, to me, just seems to suit what I want to play a wee bit more. Look, we had a fantastic season. Did well in the league. Got up into 3rd. Look, funny Monaco's winning the league out of all this. It's brilliant. We did really well. I think we did fantastic in Champions League. We got the round of 16, like I said. Beat Chelsea, beat Benfica, we beat Man City, Arsenal, Brentford. We put Ajax out in the qualifying stage. The Cup, I would like to do a wee bit better in. But look, we got to the quarterfinals. All in all, I would say a pretty good season. Did find one absolute banger when the youth intake came in. A wee guy that plays for Real Madrid. Where do you see this dude for 16? Look how fucking good he is. Like, what? 16 years old. I would love to sign him. Look, 16 first touch, 15 passing, 16 technique. He's only 16 years old. Teamwork, work rate, and vision are all fantastic. Off the ball is good. Decision making of 15. Composure of 15. Bravery of 17. Physical stats are good. He's got a good mentality. He would be amazing. I would love to get him in, but obviously he's not going to want to leave Real Madrid. And if he does, it's not going to be till he's like 18. So this is one I'm going to keep an eye on because this dude could be fantastic. But boys, that is the end of season 2. Let's move on to season 3. You have got to be shitting me. This cannot be real life. So obviously just working my way through the season, getting the season started up, putting in for any transfers, and Junior Krupi just damaged his cruciate ligaments. He's now out for another 6 to 7 months. This kid doesn't even have the fucking injury prone trait. Where is it? Injuries, major. Look, 6 months he was out for, right? And then he had a 2-day injury with a slight calf, and then another slight injury, and then this one. We're only in the start of the fucking... We've only played 2 seasons, and he's missed a year of this already. So one of the first people out the door for us was Niakata. Like I said, at some point I would like to get him out the door. See, he went to PSV for 13.7, rising up to 17. Then our keeper Perry, he went over to Monaco for like 4.2. So obviously with us only having one left back in Reguilón, I need someone to come in and fill a little space. So Renan Nuri was available for a little cheap price. Worked out about 27.5 million. He was upset he spaghetti this club. I had him on my shortlist. So I'm in sweet form. Like I said, this is going to give us a wee bit of squad depth because I feel like it's one of the things we're kind of lacking last year. Obviously with us playing the league, the cup, the Champions League, there's a lot of games. So only having one left back's not really a great idea. But then I also decided to bolster our centre backs once again. The same thing as the Adnori thing. In a lot of games, we need squad depth. I brought in Maxime Lacroix. This did cost a little bit. It cost us 32 million because he plays for Crystal Palace. They're in the Premiership, so he's a little overpriced. But look, French, still only 26, 6'3", very, very good physicals, very, very good mentals, and technical stats is pretty good. So he's good in the air, good speed, he can carry the ball. So going into the start of season 3, this is how I would set up the team if I wasn't controlling him. Aduro and nets. Very, very good keeper. Badishebu, Lacroix, and Diag. It's nice to have 3 French centre backs, and of course, and then a French right back. Bete, Higelmand, Cucurette, also French, at Nuri, Almeida, Fabian, and Civic. Look, this is the team that I would probably put out. It'd be a toss-up between Krupi and Civic, which one of the two of them, but obviously with Krupi getting that massive injury at the start of the season, I feel bad for the kid because that's 2 seasons in a row. He's going to miss all of the start of the season, probably up till January or February. It's going to take him a wee bit of time to recover. So it is unfortunate, but like this team, I'm very, very happy with. But who would the assistant manager put out? So the only changes he makes is he puts Reguilón back in here instead of Atnuri. So that may be one we need to... I don't want to lock any of the 2 of those. I'm not too sure if I want to lock any of the 2 of those in this season. I kind of just want them 2 to fight for positions. But obviously I'm going to have to put Fabian in here because the assistant manager is not going to put him in here because he doesn't know I want him to play as the advance forward. But honestly, I'll be pretty happy. Cucurette in here beside Higelmand. Rest of the team kind of speaks for itself. But all in all, boys, that's pretty much everything. So I'll bring you back in January if there's anybody good for their approach to shines, and then back in April for the youth intakes. 2-year, hopefully. Right, if you pray to anything, boys, do it 3 years in a row. Maybe get a wee good youth intake. I'm still keeping a wee eye on that Real Madrid kid, but like I don't see us get him for a while. But boys, go play season 3. So boys, we are at the end of season 3. Look. Once again, look, my goal is just to keep going and progressing, but we need to keep building up the squad. Obviously, as we get a better reputation, we get more money, we can increase the players we bring into the club, because that is the goal. Like, you just need to keep bringing in better players to do well. So let's jump over, see how we did in the league. So we started off the season relatively strong against PSG. We ended up drawing 2 each, but Xavi Simons opened up the scoring for them. Then 20 minutes later, we hit back through Tolisso. Actually went 2-1 up through young Fabian. Then in the 60th minute, they hit back to equalise to make it 2 each on the day. But then later on in the season, we had a very hard-fought match against Nice. Mbebe ended up starting off the scoring. Ujelman made it 2-0. Young Fabian added 1 to make it 3. Then 2 minutes later, they got 1 back to make it 3-1. Then Big Badi Shebu added 1. Then Badishebu added a second of the game. Not bad for a centre back. Then they hit back 3 minutes later. Then added another one late on in the game, but we made it 5-3 on the day. So we ended up finishing 4th, which is a place down from where we were last year. Look, I'm not going to lie, I'm not overly happy about this. I think we just way too many draws, like 9 draws, which is absolutely wild. 2 each, 1 with Nice, 1 with Lille, Lens, Monaco, PSG, Rennes, Havoc, and Nantes. We should be beating Nantes, Havoc, Lens, and the rest I'm kind of okay with, but like 3 of those draws maybe we shouldn't have had a draw against. In the losses, PSG, Monaco, Rennes ended up actually finishing 3rd. They had a good season. Lille and Lorient, I think we should be beaten. That's all in all, look, 9 losses, 6 draws, 25 goal difference, which means we either didn't score as many as we did last year or maybe conceded too many goals. Finished on 66 points, which means we're still a long way off, and PSG actually won the league this year. Monaco was nice and let them have it this year. But all in all, look, we're in Champions League football. I'm pretty happy with that, but I would have liked to have been in 3rd or above. Like I'm happy that we're in Champions League football, but not with the position. Once again, we have nobody in the goals, average ratings, and assists just yet. Like I said, we're still trying to tweak with the tactic and get things how I want. But Aduro was in there for clean sheets. He was third. Then if we go up into the team stats, most points per game, PSG, we were down in fourth. Most goals, yeah, we didn't score as many. We only scored 67, which is not great. Most clean sheets, 13. We had 13 clean sheets. And then goals against, we conceded way too many goals, I think, this year. So boys, all in all, a fantastic performance. Look, we had some great wins in there. Like I said, I think we're just leaking too many goals, but I may have sorted that out towards the end of the season. Like I said, obviously with simulating, I get to watch and see how the results are going. And if things are going pretty bad, I'll usually like sort of step in and like sort of see what's happening. Maybe it's too many injuries, or maybe just the formation needs tweaked a little bit. Because that's the thing with formations, like you have to tweak them as you go along. Look, I'm no tactics master. We're trying to do our best, boys. But I think I've got it in the bag right now. I think we're doing well. Obviously, we're going to concede a few goals with how I like to play, because I like to be a little aggressive and go at people. But that's part of the fun for me. That's how I enjoy playing. Boys, that is the league out of the way. Look, we're still in Champions League football. We are going to have to qualify. Hopefully, we don't get Ajax again in the qualifying rounds. But let's see how we did in the cup. Then we had a fantastic 3-0 win over Brest. It's nice to go to their stadium and not make an absolute tit of ourselves. But young Fabian started off the scoring. 15 minutes later, he added a second. And in the 93rd minute, we made it 3-0. So then that took us to the cup final, where we faced off against PSG. Probably not one of the teams you want to get in the final, but we had a great run from Almeida. Young Shirky made it 1-0 to us. Almeida then from the spot made it 2. They hit back just before half-time. A great ball from Matt Nuri into Kimbappe to make it 3-1. But we weren't finished there. Young Reguilon from the spot made it 4. And then a great solo run from young Simic made it 5-1 on the day for us to lift the cup against PSG. So to win the cup is fantastic. Next year, I want to perform better in the league. But boys, the important thing is, how do we do in the Champions League? So we started off our league phase against Arsenal. They ended up beating us 3-2 at the Emirates. We then drew 2 each with Celtic. Beat Lazio 2-0 away. Absolutely obliterated Inter 6-1. We then beat Fenerbahce 4-1. Beat Ligia 3-1. Then it was our turn to get absolutely obliterated. Leipzig beat us 6-1. We then avenged that defeat by beating Porto 2-1 away. So that finished off our league phase of the Champions League. We actually ended up finishing 10th, which was straight into the playoffs. As long as I'm in this top 24, I'm happy. Obviously, I would like to go into the top 8, but it's a little difficult to get in there every year. Then that took us into the knockoffs, away on a wintry day to Inter Milan. Young Hugelman scored. Then through young Simic, we made it 2-0. That was in the space of 5 minutes. They hit back on the 24th minute. Hugelman made it 3-1. But then the 76th minute, they got back into the game through young Pino. And then in the 94th minute of the match, they made it 3 each. Which meant going into the second leg at home, every team had something to play for. Thuram then started off the scoring in the 8th minute. They then went 2-0 up. But we knuckled down and got ourselves back into the match in the 54th minute through Fabian. On the 70th minute, Almeida added a second. In an extra time, in the 91st minute, Almeida put us through. So then that took us to the round of 16, where we faced off against Atletico Madrid. Look, a very, very good team, but we were just better on the day. Simic made it 1-0. Junior Krupi made it 2-0. And then to finish things off, Big Bad Shebu made it 3 on the day. So in the second leg, they started off the scoring with Gao Keres from a penalty. Bukaret equalised on the day. Young Simic, who was having a great season, made it 2-1. A great shot from Rayan Shirky made it 3. Shirky then added a second. They get a goal back in the 71st minute, but it was too late. We ended up going through 7-2 on aggregate. Then that took us to the quarterfinals at Stamford Bridge against Chelsea. We started off the scoring in the 43rd minute. They hit back later, 20 minutes later, with Enzo. Not going to lie, it was a great run and a finish to make it 1 each on the day. So in the second leg, we started off the scoring through young Bade Shebu. Look, I'm not going to lie, he's actually pretty good at shooting for a centre-back. Then it took us the whole way till the 71st minute to add a second through Tolisso. Then they got one back in the 94th minute through Enzo. Look, this is just a consolation. We ended up going through 3-2. Then that took us to the Champions League semi-final where we faced off against Liverpool. They started off the scoring through big Victor Osimhen. Then they made it 2-0 in the 58th minute to make it 2-0 on the day. So in the second leg, we had our work cut out for us, obviously being 2-0 down, but young Sharky opened up the scoring. We then made it 2-0 through young Junior Krupi. Then this led us to extra time where a terrible pass must let Darwin Núñez in. But in the 106th minute, some terrible play from them led us back into the match through Sharky. So this led us to a penalty shootout. So the penalty shootout actually went on for a long time, as you can see by the replays. The replays for penalty shootouts are a little weird. It doesn't show them all, it only shows some. But as you can see over here, McAllister and Endo missed for them. Sharky missed his first penalty, and then Baleshion missed one, our young centre-back, and then Sharky stepped up to hit his second penalty of the shootout and ended up missing it, which is unfortunate, but he actually scored the goal in-game to take us to the penalty shootout, and then he missed 2 penalties. Look, this is unfortunate. We made it the whole way to the Champions League semi-final, and unfortunately went out on penalties. Look, this happens. They ended up playing Arsenal in the final. So then young Adoro played 56 games, conceded 75, which is way too much. We need to knock that down a little bit. And then we had 17 clean sheets. Surprisingly, Adnuri didn't start as many games as I thought. He started 11, 22 appearances off the bench, 1 goal, 5 assists, which means Reguilon started most of the games. 43 started, 6 off the bench, 3 goals, 14 assists. He's also wanted by the Saudi League. So at 30 years old, we may cash in on him this year. And of course then young Kambete on the right hand side, 42 games started, 6 goals, 10 assists. This is really good, but he now also has the negative matches trait. Maxime Lacroix started 49 games, 2 goals, 3 assists. Diakate started 49 games, I was going to say 59 there, 5 goals, 4 assists. Adeshebu started 50 games, 7 goals, 1 assist. And it's good to see young Baleshion actually got some games in. He got 6 starts, 24 sub-appearances, 1 goal, 1 assist. I would like him to get a wee bit more football, so I may loan him out this year. Obviously, I tried to loan him out last year, but nobody was interested. But if he's one of those ones, if he is getting a wee bit of football, I might just keep around the team. Big Morten Hugelman did fantastic. 50 games started, 9 goals, 7 assists. Not bad for a defensive midfielder. Kukuret surprisingly only started 27 games, 25 off the bench, 3 goals, 3 assists. Then Almeida started 50 games, 13 goals, 14 assists. I would like to see a wee bit more from Almeida here. I think he should be having a wee bit of a better season than that. Like, he's playing as like one, obviously playing as a pressing forward, but he's still up top. I would like to see a few more goals from him. Junior Krupi only started 1 game, but he had 29 off the bench. Obviously, he was out for like 7 months because of his injury. I don't think he got any injuries this year. He had a couple of wee slight ones. Look, those two made the same damage. Cruciate ligament is just terrible. Like, you end up being out for over, like, it was like 7.5 months by the time you get like 4 to 5 weeks of recovery. So that, and then he was out for a couple of days here and there with some injuries. But like that for a dude that doesn't have the injury prone trait, he's been going through it pretty bad. Like I said, only started that 1 game, but 29 off the bench, 7 goals, 4 assists. Sharky actually started a lot of games, but he now also has the negative matches trait, which I don't really overly like. So he's going to probably more likely be a squad player. Started 35 games, 17 off the bench, 8 goals, and 18 assists. So young Simic started 28, 23 off the bench, 17 goals, and 7 assists. So the pressing forwards, it seems to be rotating them quite a lot. And then, of course, young Fabian, who we did move into the striker role for the season, started 54 games, 32 goals, 4 assists. So keeper is a position I may look to strengthen a wee bit this year. Lacroix, super happy with him. Diakate, super happy with him. Badashebu, really happy with him. Atnuri will be starting next year. And then Kambede in there. And then Morten Hugelman. And then Kukuret, wherever he is. Super happy with this. Really good. So then that leads us to the forward line, where we have a lot of options if you go into positions. Like, we have Fabian. I feel like Fabian may be better in midfield than a striker. Look, this was just down to, we had a lot of injuries. We had Simic out. We had Krupi out for 6 months. So I decided to move Fabian into the striker role. But we have like 3 or 4. We've Almeida, Krupi, Sharky, and Simic. I'm just going to let them 3 play it out up here and keep Fabian as either the segundo volante on attack, or just let the assistant manager choose. But I feel like the striker roles I'm very happy with. If I had to choose, I would probably go with something like this. I don't know about Sharky, just because he has that, doesn't enjoy the big games. This would probably be the front 3 I'll go with next year. Krupi, Simic, and Almeida. Obviously, this was the front three I wanted to go with originally, but then Krupi got injured for 7 months in the first season. We had to mix it up. Then he got injured again at the start of the season for another 7 months, and we had to mix it up again. Ideally, touch wood, if we can keep everybody fit, this is how I want to play next season. Which means, like I said, positions-wise, keeper is going to be the only one we need to go out and splash a wee bit of cash on. But boys, all in all, very, very happy. The league, we need to do better in the league. We won the cup. We did the semi-finals of the Champions League and went out on penalties to Liverpool. I'm super happy with that. The cup and the Champions League, super happy with. The league, need to sort that out next year. But boys, that is the end of Season 3. Let's jump over to Season 4. So like I said, keeper was going to be a position I did need to strengthen a little bit. Look, this guy, he's a young keeper. He's currently not playing at a high level yet, but he's only 18 years old, paid 10 million for him. Look, he's got a lot of really good things. One, strong on one foot, strong with the other foot. He's got a good mentality. Look, his balance and all is fantastic. Teamwork, vision, rushing out. Don't really need to worry about that because his one-on-ones and stuff is pretty decent. Reflexes is good. One-on-ones is good. Aerial reach is absolutely fantastic. I am going to work on his jumping reach. If we can get this up to like 14 or 15, want him to be really good in the air. But like I said, aerial distribution and shot stopping are good, along with his communication and mental skills at 18 years old. And for 10 million, I do have a wee keeper in the under 18s, but he's only 16. He is not ready yet. Like, he's really, really not. And I don't know if he's going to get to a high level. So then one of our people that went out the door was Regulon. This is one we talked about, but this is more just sort of decided to come in and offered. I said no because it was only like 24 million. It was like I wanted a wee bit more if I was going to sell him. He got upset. He's spaghetti. So we wrangled the deal, worked its way up to 36 million. So look, we got him a guy at the door. It's going to turn to 31 this year for 36 million, and we got him on the free. And then we need a wee bit of backup because we've only really one other good centre back. And if we get an injury, touch wood, we don't, but we don't have a lot of cover. So I brought Issa Dubin. It costs us about 10.2 million. Look, he's happy to be a squad player, as you can see. In the prime years, 6'4", big unit of a dude, consistent, enjoys the big games, got a good mentality. So he's going to come in, fill in a few spots whenever we need some help. Then I brought this little guy in from Lazio for 6 million. He's only 18 years old. Look, got a lot of talent. There's a lot of yellows in there, but he's got a good mentality. But then 2-star has anywhere from 3.5 to 4.5 star potential. So I brought him in for 6.5 million. Probably going to loan him out for the season or a couple of seasons, get him a wee bit of football. And I don't really think I'm going to spend too much more. Like I said, I don't think there's anywhere we need to massively bolster. We still have a total of 68 million left. So if I do want to go in and offer for somebody maybe in January, we can do that. But this is how I would set out the team for this season. Young Noonan, that's obviously the assistant manager, is probably more than likely not going to put him in there. So we may have to lock him in for the season. Badeshebu Diakate as the libero. I'm going to keep this on defend and I want to bolster the backline up a little bit. But so in defend, he'll push up in the midfield. If he's on support, he'll be like halfway up the park. So I think that's why we're conceding a few more goals, because we do have some attacking players in there. Then, of course, Lacroix in beside him. Kimbede, look, progressing very, very well, but I think he's pretty much close to his full potential and doesn't really enjoy the big game. So this may be one I may look at to maybe change up in January. I don't want to just do it straight away. I don't want to change the team too much. At Nuri will be in there. Obviously, Reglon's away. And then Fabian, I would like Fabian to play as the Segundo Volante on attack. Obviously, like I said, last year, he was thrust into the forward line, but that was due to injuries and stuff. And then Higelmand or Kukuret in here, any of the two of them I'm happy with. And Krupi, Simic, and Almeida. Krupi hasn't got an injury. Touch wood, it's not to the start of the season yet. This is the forward line I did want to have from the start of the game, but like I said, with Krupi getting those two massive injuries both seasons, which is absolutely wild. The fact that he was injured 2 seasons in a row with the same injury for 7 months is fucking insane. So this is the team I would like to put out. Let's see what this system manager is going to do, though. Honestly, the only thing it changes is Almeida and Krupi have swapped positions to the pressing forwards for attack and support, and he puts Adoro in nets. Apart from that, it's the exact same team. So the only thing I'm going to do is lock our young keeper in for the season, and that's pretty much it. I'm going to let the assistant manager probably do his thing. But all in all, I'm pretty happy with the team, everybody we brought in and everybody we got rid of. I didn't want to change the team too much. But boys, I'm going to go play the start of our 4th season. Obviously, I'll bring you back in January for anybody for approach assigns, and then back in April if the youth intake is good. If we don't see anything, it just means it was bad. But we are, honestly, joking aside, we have got a couple of good youth intakes, and I'm pretty happy with that. We've got some players coming up through the team that look pretty decent, but they're still a little young, little raw. But boys, let's go play season 4. So we're in January, and there is someone I do actually want to try and bring. It's Artem Dubrovnik. That's how you say his second name. Plays Roma. Big fucking physical dude. Look, stats are a little insane. 6'2", Mostly left footed, can play reasonably well. Both feet. Look, natural fitness is phenomenal. Strength is crazy. Physical stats are insane. Mental stats are crazy. Finishing, yeah, he's not the best dribble in the world, like a big target man type player that you just throw up there and just aim the ball at him. He'll do the rest. But of course, there is some people interested in Benfica. We could fight off Real Madrid. Gonna be a little interesting. Not that they need him. They literally have so many players. So I am gonna offer a contract. Just kind of see what he says. And he said, "Fuck off." This is one we'll come back and reevaluate. I was kind of hoping to get him in the door because it's a player that I've never played with. So yeah, that's that one out the window, boys. So boys, we are at the end of season 4. Obviously, you've seen the only person that was interested in signing in January. He still hasn't signed for anybody. I did try and go in for him again in April. He's getting no interest. I'm hoping at the end of the season, if he's got no club, we can go in and then approach to sign him there, because he is someone I would love to have at the club. He's a big, strong, physical player. You know my love for those type of players. And then, of course, our youth intake. It was a star out of 5. Wasn't good, boys. So let's jump over, see how we did in the league. So we didn't start the season off super strong. We ended up with a 3-2 defeat to PSG. Ramos on the score sheet. But then we hit back just before halftime through young Ryan Cherki. They equalised on the 70th minute. I just noticed they have Warren Amari and Camavinga. Then the 70th minute, they scored to make it 3-1. But we did hit back in the 87th minute. Apparently this was an OG from Donnarumma. Okay, yeah, I see that. But we did have a nice little 4-1 win over Olympique Marseille. Young Fabian started off the scoring. They hit back 3 minutes later. "30 minutes later, young Cherki scored to put us 2-1 up. Cherki then added a second. And then to finish things off, Big Baddy Shubi with a header from a corner to make it 4-1. They made a very hard-fought match against Monaco. We ended up winning 3-2. Young Cherki started off scoring for us. Baddy Shubi made it 2-0. Almeida made it 3. But in the 70th minute, they got one back. And in the 89th minute, right at the end of the match, they got themselves another goal. But we were already 3-2 up at this point. But it was a nice win. But boys, this is what I'm talking about. We ended up finishing joint second. We're up on 73 points. Monaco beat us by goal difference. So this is what I wanted. Just progression and keep going and going and moving up and moving up and moving up. We played 34 games, 23 wins. 4 draws against Lens, Monaco, Troyes, and Rennes. The Lens game and the Troyes game, I think we should be winning those. Then we had 7 defeats, which is a little high. I'm not going to lie. Havre, we should be beating. PSG can go anyway. Strasbourg, we should be beating. Reims, we should be beating. Nice can go anyway. Lens, we should be beating. And PSG, once again, can go anyway. I would say at least 4 of those games, we should be drawing or winning. We shouldn't be losing those games. 38 goal difference. And then, like I said, we're on 73 points. Joined second with Monaco. Nobody in the goals. Average ratings. We do have somebody in there. Almeida, we have 2 people in the assist. Almeida and Kambede. And then Hugelmand is in there for yellow cards. He's top, boys. Look, if you're going to get yellow cards in my team, at least be first in it, all right? Nobody in the player of the matches or clean sheets. Overall stats, most points per game. Obviously PSG, because it's PSG. Most goals, they did score 83. We scored 81, which means if we only had a 38 goal difference, our defense must have been a little leaky this year. Most shots for PSG, we're down in 4th. Few shots against, we're down in 6th, which isn't really great. Most clean sheets was actually Lens, which is kind of strange. We're the whole way down in 7th. We only had 8 clean sheets, which that is something we are going to need to rectify. We can't be conceding that many goals. Fewest conceded, we had 43. I'm not happy with that. That's one thing we do have to rectify. Obviously, with me playing the libero and stuff for last season and the season before, like, we were leaking goals a little bit, but this is something we do need to rectify. I think we're scoring a good amount of goals. We just need to lock up the back line a little bit. But boys, that's the league out of the way. Let's jump over and see how we did in the cup. So we get into the quarterfinals against PSG. They were at home, but unfortunately they ended up beating us 1-0 through a Kulo Moana goal, and that was us out of the cup. This did suck a little bit after winning it last year. Look, I would have liked to go a little bit further, but look, when you get PSG in the quarterfinals, it's one of those games that can kind of just go anyway. Look, only getting beat 1-0 by let's be honest, a vastly superior PSG team, I'm okay with this. So then it takes us to the Champions League. We actually had the qualifier, remember, because we finished 4th. We put out Midtjylland and then went on to play Fenerbahce and put them out, which then put us into the league phase where we beat Besiktas 4-1. Got beat 1-0 by PSG, beat Chelsea 2-0 at Stamford Bridge. We also beat Newcastle 2-0, drew 2-each against Leipzig. Had a very hard fought match against Bayern, they ended up beating us 3-2. Then it was our turn to win 3-2 against Real Sociedad. Then our final league phase match, we ended up getting beat 2-0 by Brighton. So that means we ended up qualifying 17th. Look, a little lower than what we were last year, but it is what it is. As long as we qualified, that's the main thing. So then that took us to the knockouts against Porto. We actually opened the scoring into our own net to make it 1-0 to Porto. But then we hit back in the 67th minute through Ryan Cherki to make it 1-each on the night. So then that took us to the second leg where they were at home. Things did not go our way. They started off the scoring to make it 1-0. One of my favourite players, Gabri Vega, made it 2-0. I don't know what our keeper was doing. Then in the 71st minute, they hit back again to make a 3 through Weston McKennie. So unfortunately, this is where our Champions League run ended. Look, let's not joke around. Porto do have a very, very good team in this. They also have, like I said, Weston McKennie and Gabri Vega, who is absolutely fantastic. I also just noticed they have Nordine Michele and Mbappe, and they also have Samuel Meridian. So they've got a pretty decent team. But at that, I honestly think this is a team we should be beating. We should not be getting beat 3-0 after a very, very hard fought match in the first leg. Like, we should be putting Porto away. But boys, all in all, look, we made massive progress in the league. We got up in the joint second place on 73 points. Still a wee bit off PSG, but like I said, it's just all about progression and baby steps and just working our way up. Look, I'm not going to lie to you and pretend, look, we're just going to blitz PSG and win the league every year. Look, if people can do that in their saves, clearly you're better than the rest of us. But this is what I want. I enjoy the struggle. I enjoy taking smaller teams that have this reputation that they were fantastic one time and then they kind of fell off. Obviously, Lyon have a lot of financial issues, so it hasn't helped them in real life. But this is the fun part for me. Look, is it frustrating? Of course. Look, you want to win things, especially when you're recording videos for YouTube. Look, you want to win things, make it interesting, but I also like to keep it as realistic as possible. Look, we're going to have a struggle, and that's okay. I also forgot to show you this. In January, there was somebody I actually ended up bringing in at the end of the window. I completely forgot to record it. I brought in Adrian Trufferet. Obviously, we've only got one left back because Reguilon went to the Saudi League. So I ended up bringing him in January because if Adnuri gets hurt, we don't have another full left back. Brought him in for, I think it was 30 million. Was it 30? 48 million. Started off at 30, working its way up to 48. Look, all in all, look, he's French. He's still only 26. I want to have some competition in our left back spot. And look, he's very, very good. But performance-wise, obviously, like our young keeper, like I said, he's a little inconsistent, but look, I'm not going to worry about that too much. He's still very, very young. He's starting to he looks a lot better already. So obviously, playing him for a first season, he's going to be really good. He's still only a 2.5 star, has 4 to 5 star potential, and he's been in the team for over a season. He is playing at a good level. He's consistent, or not consistent. He's got a good mentality, strong with both feet. Look, played 32 games, conceded 38. Like I said, this sort of dropped down a wee bit towards the end of the seasons. I changed the formation out a little bit. 12 clean sheets, would like to see this go up next year, but all in all, very, very happy with him. I think he's going to be very good. Adeshebu, 45 games played, 7 goals, no assists. Didn't have over a 7 rating, which was weird because at every time I've seen his performances, he always seemed to play pretty well. Diakate, 49 games, 5 goals. Technically, this should have been 6. He did score an OG. They should give the goal to him. 4 assists. Then big Maxime Lacroix, 49 games played, 3 goals, 1 assist. Nori played quite a lot of games, 46 games, 3 goals, only 4 assists, which is kind of strange for a complete wing back on the left hand side. I would like to see this go up a lot more. Like, it's just his performances weren't there. He should be getting, I would say, 15 to 20, because his friend on the other side, Mbappe, played 31 games, 15 off the bench, 3 goals, 18 assists. Young Fabian playing in the middle of the park, 49 games played, 16 goals, 6 assists. Of course, the guy playing beside him, Morten Hugelmand, he seems to play a wee bit more than Kukuret does. 42 games played, 4 goals, 6 assists. But Kukuret seems to be happy enough to just play in the squad, because he did get enough games. He started 19, 31 off the bench, 2 goals, 4 assists. And then Almeida had an absolute blinder of a season. He really, really did. 45 games played, 17 goals, 21 assists. Young Junior Krupi, 25 games started, 20 off the bench. Him and Ryan Shirky interchanged quite a lot. 13 goals, 7 assists. Would like to see us come up a little bit. And then young Simic up top, 49 games played, 22 goals, 4 assists. And then, like I said, Ryan Shirky also got a ton of games. 36 games started, 9 off the bench, 14 goals, 12 assists. He played very, very well. Even though he doesn't enjoy the big games trait, he seems to get a good amount of goals. Obviously, a lot of these goals may be against like smaller teams, but those goals count in those wee games. Like sometimes those small teams can be a pain in the ass. So this is what the team obviously ended up looking like at the end of the season. Look, obviously Krupi and Almeida and Simic all interchange. Sharky plays in there too, and then Kukuret fills in for either Fabian or Hugelman. The only thing I think we need to do this season is, as you can see, the squad's looking a little thin. We did lose a lot of players through like run out of contracts and stuff, so I am probably going to bolster up the squad a little bit this year and bring in some people who are happy to play as fringe players and squad players. I think we need a wee bit more. I think that's why we're starting to like drop a few games, because like once we get past our first team, the rest of our team's decent. Like we do have some good players in there, but if we get some injuries and suspensions, the squad is very, very thin. I don't know how much money we got. With 46 million, I'm pretty happy with that. Look, I can bring in a lot of like decent players for that. Boys, that is the end of season 4. I'm going to go do some transfers and stuff. Let's move into season 5. So I did go back in for Artem Dvorbrak. I went in for him for an approach to sign. He wanted to actually sign for us. Then Real Madrid went in, Borussia Dortmund went in. He actually ended up going to Porto, so he rejected even Real Madrid to go and play in the Portuguese league, which, no, I mean, fair play. He's an absolute beast. He'll go and absolutely fucking kill it over there. Him and Samuel Meridian. Yeah, Porto's about to be dangerous. So then, because he didn't want to sign for us, look, I've been looking for a big physical striker for the last couple of seasons. Obviously, with these rebuilds, I don't want to try and bring in the same players all the time. I could just go and buy Esposito and get him to score me like 40 fucking 50 goals a season, but try to keep things a little fresh. So I've went in and bought young Yuna Kusai Asara Prelvzi, the wee striker from Bayern East. We're about to hit our 4th season, and the kid's only 21, but he's 6'6". Physical stats are insane. He's very strong. 1 foot, strong with the other foot. He's got a good mentality. Off the ball is good. I am working on his work rate with him a little bit. It is something he does need to work on, but I do want him just to stick the ball in the back of the net. Good heading. Mental stats are pretty decent. We did have to pay 25 million for him, but honestly, it's not that much. This is one, honestly, we can bring in, we can develop, and just get him. We need a wee bit more physicality up top because we have 3 really, really small strikers. We need someone that can win as a bunch of headers. So I just completely lied to you, so I forgot I actually brought this little guy in as well, Cesar Flores. So another centre back. Look, he's very, very young. I don't know if I'm going to keep him in the first team or not, or I'm going to try and loan him out. We paid a total of 7.7 million for him. Look, he's got some really, really good stats. He's only 18 years old, 6'3", has a ton of potential. Good mentality. Like I said, he's not currently playing at a Lyon level yet. So I may loan him out for the season. I'm not too sure, or keep him in for squad depth, because we do need a bit of squad depth. I've also brought this young guy, Benabmad up into the first team. Obviously, he can play all down the right hand side, which means he can play as right wing back as well. So if we do need a bit of cover there, look, got a ton of potential. Has anywhere from 3.5 to 4.5 star potential. He's French. He's 17 years old. He can also play up top if we need him. And look, he's another one. Bring in, bolster up the squad. I'll reevaluate this in January. If he's not getting a ton of football, I'll probably loan him out. But he's one, once again, I want to bring up into the first team just to bolster. Like I said, our squad depth was a little low last year. So another one I have brought up into the first team is Nurendine. I actually brought him in and loaned him out last year, and he did very, very well. Ton of potential. Kid is very, very good. A little short, 5'7", but no, we're not going to worry about it too much. He's just going to be there to bolster up a team. So we brought him in a couple seasons ago for $500,000. He's currently worth 54 to 76 million. So yeah, not a bad little piece of business. Another one I brought up into the first team is Michel Ortela. I think it's Michel. They don't say it the way we do. This is another one, once again, brought up for squad depth. He's 19. Look, he doesn't want to be like, if you're not playing me every week, I'm going to leave. That's why a lot of these young players are getting brought up into the first team, because they don't mind playing 5 games, 10 games, 15 games, playing some cup games. And like I said, I'll just come back whenever we come back in January and reevaluate all the young players. If I see they're getting absolutely 0 games, I'll just loan them out. But boys, this is pretty much what the team's going to look like for season 5 if I was setting it up. So Noon in nets, Badishebu, Diakate and Lacroix. at Nuri, Fabian, Higelmand, and Kimpembe, and then Simic, Almeida, and Kua Asari. Probably the only person I'm probably going to lock in is going to be Kusi Asari, because the computer will put Simic in, because he's just ridiculous. So let's see what the assistant manager does. So yeah, as I thought, the only thing he changes is he puts Simic in and brings Krupi in, which, like I said, I'm not mad about at all. This front three is absolutely ridiculous, but I want the wee bit of physicality up our. Like I said, Almeida, 5'8", 5'9", Simic in and around the same. Krupi's like 5'7". Look, yes, they win a couple of hitters, but I want a wee bit of physicality up our. The only person I am going to lock in is Kusi Asari, and then just let the rest of the squad just do its thing. But boys, that is all the transfers in, all the transfers out. Obviously, I'll bring you back in January if there's anybody on the approach signs that I'm interested in. And then hopefully this year we can get a wee bit of a better youth intake in April. If you don't see the youth intake, it means it was shit. But boys, let's go play Season 5. So boys, we are at the end of Season 5. Look, you know what my goals are, is just to keep pumping up the league. Doing well in the Champions League, obviously the Cup. We've won the Cup. Got the quarterfinals a couple of times. Look, we're doing reasonably well. Let's jump over, see how we did in the league first. So we started off the season a very hard fought match against PSG. They ended up beating us 3-2, but look, this is the improvements that we want. Just every time we play them, just make it a harder match. Asari started the scoring. They hit back straight away through Vinicius Jr. 2 minutes later, we scored again. Then it took them the whole way to the 78th minute to equalise. Then in the 88th minute, they got a winner. But then we did have a nice win over Monaco at the end of the season. Asari got the only goal. They made a fantastic win over Rennes, but they actually scored in the first minute through a penalty. We hit back 15 minutes later through Almeida. Then our new giant of a striker, Asari. Asari then added a second from a corner. He's so big. Then he decided that wasn't enough, and in the 67th minute, got himself a hat-trick. So we ended up finishing second in the league. We lost the league by 1 point. As you can see, PSG are on 87, we're on 86, but we had a fantastic season. Having the big man up top, you will see, helped our whole season. Did 34 games, 27 wins. We only had 5 draws this time against Olympique Marseille, Lens, Nice, Toulouse, and Auxerre. The Auxerre game and the Lens game, we should definitely be winning those. And then we only had 2 defeats all season. Both of them 3-2 defeats to PSG. But honestly, I'm happy enough for that. But the team that they've got, look, as long as we give them a good match every time, that's all I want, boys. Just look, commitment every game. Look, if we lose, we lost 3-2 to one of the best teams in the game. Then this makes me super happy seeing Asari, top goal scorer, 37 goals in the league. I don't know how many goals he scored overall. Obviously, we'll check that after. 37 is wild. The closest person to him was Xavi Simons on 19. And Shaquille Van Persie, hold on, plays for Lille? Yeah, he's looking pretty good. I really, really like Shaquille Van Persie. I think he's fantastic in this game. Then Asari is also in there for average ratings. Almeida in there for assists, 21 assists. That's absolutely wild. Aduro is actually in there for clean sheets. I forgot to lock in the week keeper at the start of the season, so Aduro probably played a wee bit more games. And then Asari is in there for player of the matches. Then if we go up to the team overview stats, most points in a game, we are right behind them. They're at 2.56, we're 2.53. Most goals, we're right there. They scored 100, we scored 96. We scored 82, 83 last year, so like we went, it just shows bringing in a big physical striker does really, really help in this game. Most shots for was PSG. They were a decent amount ahead of us, probably like, what, 80 ahead of us, so that obviously with the firepower they have, they're going to do a lot better. Few shots against, we were 4th. I'm happy enough with that. Most clean sheets, they were on 20, we were on 15, so we had the second best clean sheets in the league. Fewest conceded, 33 for me is still a little high, but look, we're improving every year and we're getting better and we're getting better. We were way down here in what, like 8th or 9th last year. We conceded like plus, was it 43? So we've knocked off like what, 11 goals, which is what you want every season. You just look, everything's baby steps. You just get better and better and better and better every season, and that's how you end up as a fucking fantastic team. But this, I'm super happy with. Look, we were so close, so close. Let's see how we did in the cup. So we start off our cup run in the quarterfinals against Monaco, but unfortunately, that's where our cup run ends. They ended up beating us 1-0 with an absolute banger of a goal. Look, all in all, boys, I'm reasonably happy with this. Look, we faced off against PSG in the quarterfinals last year. got Monaco in this one. But for me, it's all about improvement. And like I said, I've said this a couple of times, for me, it's just about improving, baby steps, and just improving every season. And we're getting better and better. Instead of getting hammered 3-0 by Monaco, 4-5 by PSG, we're now giving them really, really close games. Look, it sucks to go out in the quarterfinals 2 years in a row, but like I said, it is what it is. These things happen. Let's see how we did in the Champions League. So we started off our Champions League run in the league phase. Of course, we didn't have to qualify. We beat Juventus 3-0. Had a really hard-fought game against Liverpool. They ended up beating us 4-3 at Anfield. We then drew 0-0 with Chelsea. We then smashed Galatasaray 5-0. Then had a 2-0 victory over Napoli. Then a 1-each draw against AC Milan. And then out of all the teams that we just played, we get beat 4-2 by Salzburg. I'll never understand the Champions League. But after that, we went on to beat Shakhtar 3-1. So that was the end of our league phase matches. As you can see, we ended up finishing 12th. I'm very, very happy with that. Look, Liverpool's behind us. Arsenal's behind us. Napoli, Benfica, Chelsea. Look, we did very, very well. Like I said, staying in this top 8 is very, very difficult. Like, you pretty much need to win like 90% of your games. I'm happy with this. So that took us to the knockout stage. We played Benfica. We started off the scoring through Lecroix. They hit back in the 21st minute. I'm not going to lie, that was a banger of a free kick. Then in the 92nd minute, we scored from a corner from Asari to make it 2-1 on the day. In the second leg, we ended up drawing 0-0, so we went through with a 2-1 victory in the first match, where we faced off in the next round against this peasant team called Man City. You might have heard of them. Phil Foden started off the scoring for them. Then we hit back in the 74th minute through Martin Hijelmand. In the 79th minute, we scored from a corner from Begasari to make it 2-1 on the day. So the second leg then took us to the Etihad, where Man City were at home. We actually started off the scoring through young Junior Krupi. Not a bad finish. They hit back just before half-time. Then we left it till the 88th minute to get a goal from Cucurette, but we went through 4-2 on aggregate. So that took us to the quarterfinals, where we faced off against our old nemesis Liverpool. They started off the scoring through Johnson. We left it till the 89th minute to get a goal to equalise to make it 1-each on the day. So then that took us to Anfield, where it's very, very difficult to go to, but we put up a really, really good fight. This was a good match. Liverpool started off the scoring through Osherman. We hit back 10 minutes later through Asari. They hit back 10 minutes later. Then 4 minutes later, we got the equaliser to make it 2-each. But unfortunately, on the 87th minute, they scored to put us out 4-3. So this is where our Champions League run ended. Look, I'm honestly very, very happy. Beat Benfica. We had a lot of really, really good wins in the league phase. Put out Man City. Give Liverpool a very hard game. They beat us 4-3 in aggregate. We seem to concede a lot of late goals, but we also seem to score a lot of late goals too. It is unfortunate going out in the quarterfinals, but look, I'm honestly very, very happy. Look, would I love to win a Champions League? Of course, but like, I'm happy. Benfica put out, Man City put out, and pushed Liverpool the whole way to the end. So performances wise, obviously Phil Noon and Adore ended up splitting the performances. They had a decent amount of games. So young Phil Noon played 17 games, conceded 19, but had 5 clean sheets. Starting to look very, very good. Like, he's still only 20 years old. He still has 4 to 5 star potential. So next year, I think I'm probably going to lock him in as our first choice keeper and just give him a lot of football. The only person I locked in was Asari, and then at Christmas I ended up not locking him in because the assistant manager was choosing him anyway. But he's definitely going to be our first choice keeper going forward. But then Adoro also wants to leave. He wants to be first choice keeper. Honestly, look. See, because he doesn't enjoy the big games and it's dark red, it's going to be a bit of a nuisance. Look, he started 27 games, conceded 26, he had 12 clean sheets. A pretty good keeper. I'm honestly happy to have him as a backup and let him and Noon interchange, but he wants to leave and be a first choice keeper, which, no, I mean, I understand, but it means we're going to need an keeper next year. Big Lacroix played 51 games, 2 goals, 3 assists, and a 7.1 for the season. Then Big Diakate played 48 games, 7 goals, 1 assist, and an over 7 rating. Big Badi Shibu played 48 games, 3 goals, 1 assist. He actually didn't have an over 7 rating, which was kind of strange. Because like I said, when you look at most of his performances, played pretty well. But then unfortunately, Big Dube didn't really get a lot of football. He's very upset, he's spaghetti. But look, he came in as a fringe player. Look, I would have liked him to start more than 1 game. So we may try and give him a few more games next season. But kind of want to keep him as a rotation. Young Balesion, he got 8 starts, 22 off the bench. 0 goals, 0 assists, and a 6.8. But once again, he's one of those ones. Like, he's happy to play as a squad player. He's just happy to be around, boys. Then Kambete, I always fuck his name up, 29 starts, 1 off the bench, 1 goal, 9 assists. He actually ended up didn't starting at right back the whole season. Because from what I seen, this dude ended up starting. Obviously, I brought him into the team a season ago. I trained him as a complete wing back on the right hand side because I want him to be my Jeremy Frimpong type thing, where he's a winger, but he plays at right back, but he doesn't really play as a right back. He's mostly a winger. So like I said, 22 games started, 13 off the bench, 2 goals, 10 assists, and a 7.15. Looking very, very good. Has anywhere from 3.5 to 4.5 star potential. At Nuri, 35 games started, 4 off the bench, 3 goals, only 7 assists, but I also have to remember that Nuri is also playing on support. He's not on attack. I played him on support because he's a wee bit more well-rounded. And then Adrian Truffet he's now transfer listed. He's upset. Look, he came in as a regular starter. I give him a good amount of games, and then the assistant manager decided he wanted to play Nuri, but he started 17 games, 22 off the bench, 2 goals, 4 assists. I don't want to lose him. If we get rid of him for 34 million, it is what it is, but I'm going to keep him in the team as long as I can. Big Martin Higelman, most of the time playing as our ball-winning midfielder. 42 games played, 3 goals, 6 assists, and a 7.1. Who wants him? No, decidedly go away. Then Giovanni Fabian, 33 games started, 14 off the bench, 6 goals, 7 assists, and an over 7 rating. The kid always performs. He always does. Cucurette also started quite a lot of games, 28 starts, 19 off the bench, 1 goal, 6 assists. Then Almeida had an absolute banger of a season. He's playing as the advanced playmaker, sitting in behind the 2 strikers. 47 games played, 16 goals, 30 assists, and a 7.3 for the season. 30 assists is why. He had 46 goal involvements in 47 games. Junior Krupi also played pretty well as well. 21 games started, 31 off the bench, 17 goals, 12 assists, and an over 7 rating. He now also has that he doesn't enjoy the big games, but one of those, look, he's kind of a rotation. He's not going to get in front of Almeida. Ryan Shirky actually didn't start as many goals this year. 3 appearances, started 30 off the bench, 8 goals, 11 assists, but he did have a 7.15 for the season. Then young Simi Kilskoy, of course, he's playing as the advanced forward beside us. Played 46 games, 16 goals, 7 assists, and an over 7 rating. I would say I'd like him to get a few more goals, but yeah, the big man did pretty well this year. In Asari, in his first season, started 39 games, 12 off the bench, 49 goals, 6 assists, and a 7.7 for the season. Look, it's fair to say, I think this was money well spent. But although, boys, like I said, this is going to be the formation that I settle on for this save. I know I always do this, but I think this is what you do when you do saves. Like, you start off with a formation, you kind of tinker as you go along because you bring different players in or better players in, and you kind of just rotate as you go along. I do like to sort of come out the other end, adding a wee bit to the formation myself. I've settled on this is how I want us to play. Sweeper, keeper, 3 ball playing defenders. Nothing really overly changes that much. Wing back on support, this is obviously at Nuri. And then complete wing back as the wee kid, I can never remember his name, Benamed. I don't know how to pronounce that. And then 2 in the middle of the park. Like I said, this is Almeida sitting behind the 2 strikers. The complete forward is Asari. He's a big physical dude, but he's also reasonably quick. And then the advanced forward is Simic. This formation I really, really enjoy. Obviously, the formations that I've used in the save will all be in the pinned comments down below with the updated database and all the stuff for like the corner routine. But I feel like I want to play at least another season. I'm happy with this team, but like I want to win the league. We were so close to winning the league last year. 1 fucking point. I think we can push on this season and do really, really well. I didn't actually look to see how much money we got. We're 49 million. But boys, I'm going to go do some transfer business. Apparently this is transfer business now, boys. Let's jump into season 6. So obviously at some point we knew we were going to lose one of our players, our older ones, to the Saudi League. The Saudi League have come in and offered for Morten Hirschelman. They offered 45 up front. I wrangled a little deal. 30 up front, 35 in 12 months, and 35 after 50 games, totaling 100 million. I think this is a deal we do take. I have brought someone in that's very similar to Morten Hirschelman. He's only 19, very, very good player. So I think I'm going to take the 100 million. But on top of that, we also did lose young Junior Krupi. This is one Chelsea came in and offered. I said no. He wanted to leave. So we worked a deal, as if you see, if you go up to it, starts off at 55 million, working its way up to 80. I think this is a really good deal. Look, he wants to go and play first team football. He doesn't start. He also doesn't enjoy the big games, and you know how I feel about those traits. Sometimes I want to get rid of him, but this is mostly he wanted to go out the door. Then we also sold Mangala. Look, he just wanted to leave, go get some first team football, and the Saudi League came in and offered that money, so he's away. One player I did bring in last year, I forgot to show you, in January for the approach of science, is Valentin Carboni. He was on a free. helps with squad depth. He's happy to be a fringe player, and his wages are only 30k a week, which is fantastic. So the person I brought in to replace Morten Hesselman is this young guy. He's 19, he's Danish, 6'2", can play reasonably well with both feet. He's consistent, has a good mentality. First touch is good, tackling's good, technique is good, mental stats are good, physical stats are very, very good. And like I said, he's 6'2", costs us a total of 17.5 million. So we replaced Morten Hesselman, sold him for 100, and brought this kid in to replace him for 17.5. So I did splash a wee bit of cash on this guy. This is going to be the guy that's the long-term replacement for our left wing back situation. He can also play on the right. He's more of an attacking player, but I am obviously going to train him to play in that position. It's going to be Josh McDonald. We did have to pay a pretty penny because he's English, playing for an English club, obviously not now. But look, crossing a 14, 16 dribbling, 16 first touch, passing good, technique is good, mental stats are good, physical stats are very, very good. He can play with both feet, got a really, really good mentality. We did have to pay 52 million for him though. He had a buyer clause. They would not accept anything, but there's a reason why I paid the 52 million. Because this bell end right here, Adrian Truffet. So I had a deal agreed that worked itself up to started at like 30 million, worked itself up to like 49 million. It was Aston Villa and West Ham. I was like, right, okay, we got that deal in place. That means I only pay like 14 million or something for that wee kid. I was pretty happy with that. And then he goes and rejects both of them. And now I can't get rid of him. He's going to end up going out on loan for the season. It's just a pain in the ass. But now it means we paid the 52 million, and my plan was to just use the money that I got for Truffert to pay for that. And I did also bring in this young man. It is Lyon. Schmatke, I think that's how you pronounce his name. Paid a total of 11 million for him. Look, got a ton of potential. Gonna loan him out for the season. As you can see, he's already loaned out already. I've already agreed to fee. But physical stats, he's an absolute flam machine. Good dribbling, good finishing, good first touch. Technique is good. Mental stats need to work on his work rate a little bit, but he's got a good mentality. Super consistent. So this is one obviously for the future. So with everybody in the door and everybody out the door, this is what the team is going to look like for the season. We got Noonan Nets. Like I said, I want to lock him in and make sure he's first choice keeper. Badishabu, Diakate, and Lacroix. Lacroix had a lot of interest from the Saudi League. Nothing ever came of it. Nobody ever offered. It was the way you get the news report. It's like 65 million. Look, if we were to get 65 million for him, I'd probably take it and then just play young Cesar Flores. If I could click on him, I would just play him and put him in. He is very, very good. Another one, probably going to loan out for the season, get another season of football in him. Then, of course, I'm going to play McDonald, the left back. Him or Atnuri, not really decided yet who's going to start there. Fabian Larson, the new defensive midfielder, and then I'm going to play the wee wing back. The system manager seems to play him more than he plays our other wing back, so I'm just going to rock it out, let him play, let him develop. Look, he's still only 18 years old, and he's got a long way to go to hit his max potential, and he's got a good mentality, so I'm just going to let this rock out, let him play on. He seems to have did well last year. And then, of course, Almeida, Asari, and Simic in behind. We still have a lot of people in our squad. Depth is looking a lot better, which is exactly what, like I said, what I wanted to do. Obviously, I want to win the league this year. I think we were so close last year. I want to win the league this year. Champions League, just keep doing what we're doing. We're reaching semi-finals. We're reaching quarterfinals. We're beating big teams. The French Cup, we'll just worry about that another day. But boys, that is everybody in the door and everybody out the door. Obviously, I'll bring you back in January for the approach signs if there's anybody I want to actually sign, and then I'll bring you back in April for the youth intake if it's better than a star or a star and a half. Boys, let's go play season 6. So boys, we are at the end of season 6. These seasons honestly seem to fly by, and the worst part for me is I hate leaving these saves because you build up like all these good young players. You start having like a bunch of really good players starting to come through like your youth system and stuff, and then boom, we're done. Because obviously this will be the last season. I think I've done with this save what I want to do. But first off, let's jump over and see how we did in the league. So we started the season off and against PSG. Once again, it's teams we need to beat if we want to win the league. We started off fantastic. Young Simic put us on the score sheet. Then just before halftime, young Asari made it 2-0 to beat them on the day. So then after a great win against PSG, we then faced Monaco. We went ahead in the 6th minute. In the 75th minute, they hit back to make it 1 each. 4 minutes later, Simic made it 2-1. Then right at the end of the match, young Asari made it 3-1. So then that took us to the final game of the season against PSG. We went 1-0 up through Asari from a corner, surprise. Then the 32nd minute, Asari made it 2-0 to beat PSG twice. So after beating PSG twice and Monaco twice this season, we actually went undefeated. We did win the league by 1 goal. We went undefeated, as you can see, 34 games played, 28 wins, 6 draws, 0 losses, 68 goal difference, 90 points, the same as PSG, and we had one more goal. So we, like I said, they won the league last year by 1 point. We won the league this year by 1 goal. You couldn't write this if you tried. You really couldn't. The fact that we went undefeated is fantastic. Obviously, 6 draws against some teams that I wouldn't want us to draw. But look, I'm going to stay as optimistic as possible. We won the league, and this is exactly what I want. We started off in season 1, and we just started working our way up and just building the team, tweaking the formation, bringing better players in, once again, tweaking the formation, and just progressing as things went along. And that's the thing you want to do in these saves. Just keep progressing. If you start going backwards, obviously then that's when you need to start looking at things. But also in there, this makes me happy. Sorry, with 25 goals, the leading to goal scorer in the league again, but then Simic in behind him with 18. So both of our strikers, our complete forward and our advanced forward, were 1 and 2 for goals, which means we probably scored a lot of goals this season. Average ratings, Simic and Asari are both in there, which means they both had fantastic seasons. Then also, if you go over into the assists, we have our left back at the top with 16 assists, and then our right back at the second with 13 assists. I know you're probably looking thinking, Mark, Jeremy Simeon is not the guy we brought on to play left back. We'll talk about that when we go to the team overview. This kid is absolutely fantastic. I brought him in, and you'll kind of see why. But then we also have Asari and Simic in there for player of the matches. Phil Noon, our wee young keeper, is in there for clean sheets with 23. So this is how we've done well in the league, just because we have players in goals, assists, average ratings, player of the matches, clean sheets, which means either we scored a lot of goals or our defense was absolutely top notch. I'm still laughing at the fact that we won it by a fucking goal. So if we win the team overview, most points in a game, we were joint. Awesome PS. This was such a close season. We're both on 2.65, as you can see over here. Most goals, 90. We had 84, so our defense must have been fantastic. Most shots for was PSG. We're not that far behind them. Few shots against were also, they did a pretty good lead, 198. Few shots against were 251. So no one had a better defense than us. Most clean sheets is us with 24. Fewest conceded. We only conceded 16 goals all season. PSG were 23. So this is a massive improvement from last year. Like I said, with me tweaking the sort of formation a wee bit every year, like I don't overhaul. I just like change one thing next season or like half a season and see how it's working, change a wee thing, and then I just like wee tweaks over time. Look, I'm not a tactical expert. I just go by what I see on the match. But like I said, this is fantastic, bro. The fact that we won the league by a goal, it just makes it so much better. But let's jump over, see how we did in the cup. So we kick things off in the quarterfinal of the cup against Auxerre. We did very, very well. We started off the scoring, shocker through Asari with a header. Then young Simic made it 2-0. Then on the 57th minute, our young right back made it 3. In the 86th minute, we went 4-0 up with a great ball in and a Asari header. Then they did get a goal back in the 92nd minute with some just terrible defending from us. It was a shambles. So that took us to the semi-finals of the cup where we faced off against Brest. They actually scored in the first 3 minutes. So in the 94th minute, we ended up hitting back through Almeida. So because then it was 1 each at the end of full time, it ended up going to penalties. I'm not going to show all the penalties. They're a little fucky for some reason. They don't show when players miss, but we scored all our penalties. They missed 2. We ended up going through 5-3, which took us to the French Cup final, where we faced off, of course, against PSG, because who else would it be? They started off the scoring through Vinicius Jr. Then we hit back through a young right back, Benamed. And then in the 108th minute of extra time, a nice whipped ball in, for you guessed it, and a sorry header to win the cup. So this is fantastic. We ended up getting the league in the bag, and we got the cup in the bag. This was a hard one. Like, we had some very, very hard games. Obviously, going to penalties against Brest in the semi-final, and then taking it the whole way to like the 109th minute in the final. So look, sometimes you need a wee bit of luck to win trophies. So that's the league in the bag, the cup in the bag. Let's see how we did in the Champions League. So we started things off in the league phase against Porto. We beat them 2-1. Then had a fantastic 3-0 win against AC Milan. Then we actually got beat 2-1 by Frankfurt. Then we had a 2-1 win away to Salzburg. Real Madrid then beat us 2-1. Then we beat Juventus 2-1. Vlahovic actually missed a penalty, so it could have been 2 each. Then we beat FC Nordelsland 5-2. I think that's how you pronounce their name. Then we smashed Sporting 4-1. With all those results in the bag, we actually ended up finishing second, right behind Liverpool. We were 2 points. This is absolutely fantastic. A great start to the Champions League. So then that took us to the round of 16 where we faced off against Olympique Marseille, a team that we've played quite a lot. We started off the scoring through Big Asari in the 6th minute. Then 15 minutes later, Fabian made it 2-0. 10 minutes later, Asari made it 3. Then on the 79th minute, they got one back through Mason Greenwood to make it 3-1 on the day. Then in the second leg, it was a very close fought match where we actually only ended up winning 1-0. Simic got the only goal, which then took us to the quarterfinals, where we faced off against our old nemesis Frankfurt. I want to get some revenge on them. We started off the scoring through young Simic. Asari made it 2-0. They hit back 10 minutes later. Then we scored in the 94th minute. But then Frankfurt decided in the 95th minute that they also wanted to get themselves a goal. So that made it 3-2 on the day. But in the second leg, this is where we improved. In the 22nd minute, we took the lead. Just on halftime, we got ourselves our second. They end up winning 5-2 to take us to the semi-final, where we faced off against Real Madrid. We actually started the scoring through young Simic. Then Larson made it 2-0. Then right at the end of the match, Nuri made it 3-0 to beat them on the day. But then we had to go to the Bernabeu, where they actually ended up winning 1-0 for a header from Marino. But of course, at this point, with our 3-0 win in the first match, which means we ended up going to our first Champions League final 3-1 in aggregate, where we faced off against Arsenal. They started the scoring through Saliba in the 15th minute. Then 10 minutes later, they went 2-0 up through Gabriel Jesus. Then 2 minutes later, they went 3-0 up through Nico Williams. Then shortly after, we got one back through Almeida. But unfortunately, this is where our Champions League fun ended. They ended up smashing us 3-1. Look, we made it to a final. I would have loved to win, but like, Arsenal were just better on the day. They just played way better. It just is what it is. Look, I'm very, very happy. We won the league. I'm still laughing that we won the league by 1 fucking goal. We won the cup and we made it to the Champions League final. So young Phil Noon had a fantastic season. 54 games, conceded 41, but he had 27 clean sheets. Also, he's valued at 133 to 149 million for a goalkeeper. Not bad for somebody we paid 10 million for. So then this is the young left back that I have brought in. Obviously we paid 53 million for the other left back. I'm actually going to set him as our right back on the right hand side. But the thing is, I sold somebody, he got upset, then just would not stop being upset. He was pissed off all the time, said he wanted to leave. So I loaned him out for the season to let him calm down. Obviously he's going to play as the right back in the future, but I wanted to bring this guy in. I've had this kid on my shortlist for a long time, but obviously because of his age and the team and stuff that he played for, he just didn't want to leave. But then he was upset he's spaghetti, and then we ended up getting him for 23.5 million. Look, he's absolutely fucking phenomenal. Got a good mentality, super consistent, only 20 years old, can play fantastically with both feet, still has a decent amount of potential. As you can see, his stats speak for itself. There's a lot of yellows in there. He's got good work rate, good first touch, decent dribbling, technique's good, passing's good. I am working on his crossing, trying to make his crossing a little bit better. But as you can see, he played 52 games, 4 goals, 25 assists and a 7.2 for his first season. So like I said, young Josh McDonald is the one that was a little upset he's spaghetti, so I loaned him out to Leipzig for the season. Played 34 games, 3 goals, 1 assist. He's just going to end up playing on the right hand side. So he's going to be on one side, that other guy's going to be on the other, and we have 2 players that are very, very explosive. This guy is really, really good at crossing as well, so Asari's going to get like even better crosses into the box. But like I said, he just got a little upset, so I loaned him out for a season, let him calm down a little bit. He's also valued at 90 at the 114 million. Then of course, big Maxime Lacroix, 47 games played, 0 goals, 0 assists. I may look to maybe cash in on Lacroix, I'm not too sure yet. Because we do have young Cesar Flores, who's only 20 years old. He's nearly just as good if you go in and compare him and Lacroix. Like, there is not a lot of difference between him. Obviously, Lacroix has a wee bit of better vision, but it's something we can work on. The kid's only fucking 20 years old. But He is very, very good. And Lecroix is only going to start degrading because, you know, Football Manager, when you hit 30, you're pretty much dead. But for Flores, I actually brought into the team, give a wee bit of football. So he played 22 games, 5 off the bench, 2 goals. Diakite played 44 games, 10 off the bench, 2 goals and an over 7 rating. Then Big Bad Shebu, of course, played 51 games, 2 goals, 3 assists and an over 7 rating as well. Then Kambede actually played a decent amount of games, 40 games, 4 goals, 15 assists and an over 7 rating. So the assistant manager must have preferred him a wee bit this season, because last season he was playing Benamid, but Benamid still got a decent amount of football. 27 games started, 22 off the bench, 6 goals, 12 assists and an over 7 rating. He, I think, will progress. Look, he just keeps getting better and better and better. He just turned 19. He's playing as a 2.5 star, has anywhere from 3.5 to 4.5 star. But like I said, we do also have McDonald to play on the right hand side, so he'll more than likely be the backup to McDonald, because both them two are going to be fantastic. At Nuri actually didn't start any games. He had 50 off the bench, 4 goals and 11 assists. Then of course big Jonathan, I was going to say Jonathan, but it's Jonathan, isn't it? Larson, basically the big defensive midfielder we brought in, did 54 games, 4 goals, 10 assists. He looks phenomenal now. Look how good he is over here. Then of course the man who played in beside him, young Fabian, 53 games played, 10 goals, 9 assists and a 7.14. I honestly highly recommend, if you're playing and you need a good midfielder, big, strong, physical, can play football, works hard, you want to get him on the cheap, has a good mentality, honestly buy Giovanni Fabian. This is probably the worst I have seen him look. He ends up looking a lot better than this in most saves. I would highly recommend it. And you get him, like I said, super cheap. He always performs. He's just Mr. Consistent. He really is. Then young Kukurat obviously didn't get as many games because I locked in our other young defensive midfielder, but he started 10 games, 46 off the bench, 2 goals, 9 assists. He's going to be pushing 31 this year. So I don't know if he doesn't want to leave and he's happy to play as a fringe player. I'm more than happy to keep him in the team. Then, of course, young Almeida played 53 games, 16 goals and 5 assists. So a wee bit of a drop off from his last season last year. I think he got, 15 goals, 30 assists. Obviously, I don't expect him to do that every single season. I thought he would have got more than 5 assists because he usually is very good. But all in all, he had a very good season. Then, of course, young Simic, once again, had a really good season. 48 games played, 2 off the bench, 29 goals, 9 assists, and a 7.2 for the season. He's also valued at 90 to 99 million. But then that leaves us with a big man up top. Asari played 46 games, 43 goals, 7 assists, and a 7.56. But then, boys, you're probably wondering, Mark, where is Ryan Shirky? We'll get to that. So Ryan Shirky wanted to play a lot of football. I couldn't guarantee him first team football because obviously I'm not going to drop Simic or Almeida. So he got upset. Spaghetti wanted to leave. We sold him on to Sevilla, as you can see, for 30 million, working its way up to 45 million. Look, this is a good deal. He's happy to go. He wants to play some first team football. Honestly, I didn't really overly start him because he doesn't enjoy the big games. So look, we get a bit of money for a player that came through the youth system. He gets to go play some football. So at the end of it all, boys, this is pretty much what the team would look like. If I was going to play another season, obviously we're not. This is going to be us done. And obviously, if anybody wants to take on the save, everything will be in the pinned comments down below. The formation I use, the updated database, the save file, and of course the corner routine that I use, everything will be in the pinned comments down below for you to go and play. Noon in nets will be young keeper, absolutely fantastic. Badishebu, Diakate, I'm not too sure. I'll probably give another season and then I would probably look to replace him because he's going to be like 31, 32 at some point. Flores, I'll bring in and probably sell Lecroix onto the Saudi League. Look, you can make a ton of profit. Young Flores is very ready to come into the team. And then, of course, like I said, Simeon on one side, McDonald on the other side with Larson and Fabian in the middle of the park, Almeida, Asari, and Simic up top. And you have a ton of people in this team that you can bring in. Because you have some amazing talent like Emil, Nurendine. I didn't get a chance to play this kid because I had loaned him out for a couple of seasons, but he looks absolutely fucking phenomenal. We paid a total of what? $500,000 I paid for this dude maybe like 3 or 4 seasons ago when he was really young, and look at him now. You could honestly, if you're looking somebody to replace Fabian, say you wanted to get Fabian out the door and get someone a wee bit more technical, this kid is more than capable of stepping into the center midfield role. Then you also have Ortillo, another one very good. I don't think he's just as good as Emil, but another one, very good squad player. You also still have another keeper as well down there. You have Niang, who I think he came through the youth system. Yeah, he did come through the youth system. Obviously 20 years old now. He would be one I would look at be loaning out for a few seasons, just in case you want to have two keepers. Some people like to have two keepers and rotate keepers in and out. Look, he's only playing a 2-star, has 4 to 5 star potential. I would definitely look to loan this kid out for a couple seasons, give him some football. He could be amazing. Then you also have people like Julian Schmacke, the wee kid that I just brought in there in the last season. Very, very explosive. One of those ones you could play. He could probably be a backup to Simic. Then you also have this guy, Stelios of Varistosios. He's Greek, got a crazy name. We paid 725,000 for him. Obviously, he could be a backup as your ball-winning midfielder to the big Danish guy, Larson. But on top of that, obviously, if you go into the scout and go to the players and go across the shortlists, I have a Wonder Kid shortlist. If you click over here, you have the default shortlist and then my Wonder Kid shortlist. There is a plethora of fucking young players in here. Some of them are absolutely phenomenal. Some of them I was just scouting to see how good they are, but like there's a couple of pages of players in here. There is some absolute bangers in here. One of them is Bayern Munich's young attacking midfielder, Mazzoni. Gonna cost you a wee bit of money to get him out of Bayern, but once again, absolutely phenomenal. Another one, Andrea Sone, once again plays for Torino. Would probably be pretty easy to get him out of there. He's only valued at 14 to 17 million. Still has a ton of potential, like another star better than this. And I feel like if you brought this kid in, give him some football or loaned him out for a couple of seasons, he's got a good mentality, he's consistent. He could be a really, really good player or a really good squad player that you'll probably get for like 16 million. Another guy that looks absolutely fantastic is Barguda. He's at Barcelona, obviously. It's going to take a wee bit of cash to get him out of there, but this is him a 2.5 star and he's 4 to 5 star potential. But he's in Barcelona's main team. So if he has 4 to 5 star potential in Barcelona's first team, he is going to be very, very good. I did try to get him last year, but he was out on loan and I couldn't actually get him, which is a little interesting. But like he's got dribbling, finishing, first touches, phenomenal technique. He's very, very explosive, very, very quick. He's also 6 foot, so he's a good height. He's got an amazing mentality. He's one keep a wee eye on or just go and buy straight away. Another one that looks absolutely fantastic is Stephanie Silvestre, but the only thing is he plays for AC Milan, so he's going to cost you a little bit of money. He's valued at 83 to 118 million, but this is him at 4 star, but he has 5 star potential, and he has a good mentality, super consistent. He's just amazing. So boys, I'm very, very happy with how this save went out. Look, it took us, 6 seasons to win the league, but look, knocking PSG off there, there's a couple of seasons where they went unbeaten and like hardly lost or drew a game all the time. Then obviously Monaco blitzed them for a couple of seasons, so it took us a wee bit of time to sort of win the league. But look, the longer it takes, the happier I am. Honestly, I love dragging these saves out because the more time I get to spend with the young players that I brought through, the more fun it is for me. Obviously, like I said, you have a plethora of players. I'm not going to go through all the guys that are on that shortlist. We'll be here all day. There's probably about 45, maybe 50 players on that. There's a lot of players that are very, very good. And then obviously you're going to have all the newer players coming through, so you probably add more to that shortlist. But look, won the league. We did really well. I think we did well in the Champions League. It took us a couple of years to get our feet in the ground, but like we got the couple of semi-finals, we got the couple of quarterfinals, we made it to the final. Obviously Arsenal beating us, it kind of sucks. We won the cup a couple of years as well. So all in all, I am very, very happy. My goal was to just take Lyon back to the team that they used to be, fighting for titles, doing well in the Champions League, fighting for the cup, and bringing through a lot of really, really young players. And we've done that. Like I said, obviously, if you want to take a save on, everything will be in the pinned comments down below for you to just go and pick the save up. Obviously, winning the Champions League is something I think you should do with this save. Obviously, if you take it on, let me know how you get on, who you keep in the team, who you sell the team. I'm always very, very interested to see how people play on with these saves. But guys, I think that's going to be a good spot to stop off. This video is going to be very, very long. This is probably going to be like another 2-hour video, but you guys seem to be really, really enjoying all these longer videos. Obviously, the 3 saves that we've done before this, guys, thank you so, so much. Every single one of those videos has got like well over 1,000 views, which is absolutely insane. We're getting more views on the videos than we have subscribers right now. Also, the channel is blown up. We're getting a lot of subs. So everybody who's new to the channel, or the people who swing by every day or every time we upload a video and support the channel, you guys are amazing. But boys, that's going to do it for today's video. Thank you very much for watching. Remember, like, comment, subscribe. What if you fucking want to on YouTube? This was a lot of fun.